We had Monday Night Football last night, college football. We still need to recap a lot of what happened over the weekend. So a ton to get to. But Brett, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great, and I thought the Tiger game went almost, except for I didn't think that the offensive production would be that high. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think Jackson State would play so up and down like they did. And, the Tigers had to be saying thank you. We welcome this with the athleticism and the depth that they have over Jackson State, but the game kind of played out very much like I thought. I think I said 64-50.
So I think
something like that. 14-point margin. Tigers win by 17, and really everybody got to play. When I looked at the box score, I said the biggest thing, I couldn't wait till the game was over. And when I saw the official box and went to the number of players that played kind of 9 minutes or more and got some good run, I was surprised that Carl Sharonfont didn't play more. But he might play 17 minutes Friday night in Columbia.
Yeah.
Who knows? So, a good sorting out first day of college basketball. I found myself watching more college basketball last night.
Good.
Than I ever dreamed I would.
That's good.
And really because the Monday Night Football game, and I hate this word, I do, boring.
Yeah.
I hate that word.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game. I didn't see
We had
much
a family
of
friend that if we ever said boring, bored, around, she would light us up.
That's great.
And I never forgot that. But it just didn't do anything for me. But the college basketball did. I listened to most of the Tiger game, to our friend Dave Woloshin and Matt Dillon, and just loved it and all their coverage. I listened to some of the Ole Miss Alabama State game. Mm-hmm. I listened to some of the Arkansas game and watched a lot on television. And in the Alabama State Ole Miss game, the Tigers are going to play both of those teams.
Sure are.
And going to play Alabama State soon. T.J. Madlock had a really good game for Alabama State, and Amar Knox.
Amar Knox, former Tiger, or former Tiger commit, I guess I should say, had a good game. Look, I was saying this last week. I don't know if we ever had the conversation about it, but I know I told Johnny, and I know I told my little brother Connor, this Alabama State team could be a fun team to watch this season. When you look at T.J. Madlock, obviously Tony Madlock's son, he also went to Houston High School, which is where I went, so some ties there. Like you said, Amar Knox, former Memphis commit, Tadarius Jacobs, I believe his name is. He was a former walk-on at Memphis. I don't know if
physical with Ole Miss.
They're very physical. They've got a 7'1" center that they got from a JUCO down in Georgia. They've got a transfer from Georgetown on their team. I mean, this is a team that could be fun to watch. We love Tony Madlock, and just the job he's done has been really fun to watch.
He's so beloved, of course, here in Memphis and by Tiger faithful. He's loved at Ole Miss. For those years with Andy Kennedy. And speaking of AK, one of the shockers of the day, but it was a great game, overtime loss for UAB to Bradley.
Wow, I didn't even know they lost that game. I mean, with my night going straight from here to the Tiger game, I got home. I was so
tired. I didn't think I would outdo you on anything with college basketball today.
I'm happy for you, Brett. I really am.
SEC with one loss. That was Georgia yesterday afternoon. AAC with one loss. That was last night. UAB at home to Bradley.
Yeah, and so no, that's a surprising loss. But Bradley, they're one of those teams that can really hurt you if you're not expecting them. But that's a loss I didn't really expect yesterday.
I couldn't hang for UCLA or USC.
I couldn't watch either of them. I was going to try to stay up if I could watch either of them, but I couldn't, both being on Pac-12 networks. Counting down the days, Brett, until the Pac-12 is no longer, so that I don't have to worry about Pac-12 network. I'm so sick and tired of the Pac-12 network trying to watch some of these early season games.
It really was the personification, almost emblematic of the fall of the Pac. Is the rollout, the distribution, the carriage, the disinterest.
Yes.
Their network killed them.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And, I mean, it just makes no sense to me because the way the SEC network did it, the way ACC network did it, is how you have to do it. You have to get it on television and then also offer all of those games through a service like ESPN Plus Fox, if you wanted to do, if you were the Pac-12 and you wanted to have something with Fox or something like that, you could still have a way where you could watch those games through the Fox Sports app or through something. That's the great thing about SEC Network and ACC Network. That game last night for Ole Miss, that game was on SEC Network Plus. Well, if you don't have SEC Network, you can't watch anything with SEC Network Plus, but it's also offered as an ESPN Plus game, so you can still watch those games, and that's how you can do it. The way Pac-12's done it is they've just kind of isolated themselves to only people out on the West Coast, and you can't watch those games, and people just lose interest.
People
it's
cut them
impossible.
out.
Yeah, and UCLA is supposed to be a team that's going to be really good this year. They just, I think late last week, got eligibility for one of their international players that's going to be a freshman that's going to be a lottery draft pick. So it's just a shame that these early season games for the Pac-12 are all being played on Pac-12 Network where nobody can watch them.
And the stunner of the night.
Oh, man.
The totem pole, the statue, the worship that they have. And he is a great coach. But don't we get a little ahead of ourselves about Tom Izzo and his one title?
Well, Brett, it's not March yet. You wait till March rolls around.
No kidding. And last night, Michigan State first November home loss since David Robinson and Navy beat them in 1986, and first season opening loss in East Lansing since 1970 when Gus Ganakis was head coach, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Your guess is as good as mine.
1970 to Northern Illinois. That preceded Judd Heathcote.
Wow. That's remarkable. It really is. And in that game last night, I mean, we were keeping tabs on it. I was able to see most of overtime after the Tigers game was over. And man, I mean, the James Madison just came to play, and now
who made James Madison?
I was about to say, look over at James Madison, 9-0 in football.
Baseball.
Oh yeah, for real. When baseball rolls around, stay away. But 9-0 in football, and now 1-0 with a win over the 4th-ranked team in the country for basketball. I mean, it can't get much better for James Madison athletics.
And real movement for James Madison in football to be allowed to go to the Sun Belt Championship game and subsequent after that to a bowl, and they should.
Absolutely. I'm glad to see that. Hopefully the right people who are going to be making a ruling on this makes the right call, because it's just, I understand wanting to try to help these teams and try to have limitations of letting them do something. So I don't know really what I think about it, but this James Madison team was dominant in FCS. They make the jump to FBS and have really shown that they could do it without the transition period and can be on an even level with these FBS teams. And so it's ridiculous that this team has played so well and can't play in a conference championship, can't play in a bowl game unless there's not enough teams. So I hope they get past. I also, speaking of basketball, David Cobb, who we talked to yesterday, when I got him on the phone earlier today to talk to Johnny Rado, I asked him if he was able to go see a game last night. Belmont versus Georgia State got a thriller, 2-point win for Belmont. He said it was a fantastic game. Me and him, we talked so long on the phone that John was back. I think John read a spot. He was ready to talk to David. I'm just over here talking Belmont basketball with David. I had to apologize to John. Like, I'm so sorry. David got me excited, wanted to talk Belmont. I mean, so yeah, a little bit of everything last night.
I couldn't make it to the end of USC, Kansas State. Boogie Ellis from 24.
I've heard a lot of people saying that he has a real shot of being a first-team All-American this year, maybe Player of the Year in the Pac-12. That's a good team. I mean, you've got Bronny James.
I'm not shocked, but I'm kind of surprised.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm the exact same way. But, the USC team's good. They've got, obviously, Boogie and Isaiah Collier, who might be one of the least talked about number one prospects in college basketball history. I mean, you do not hear a lot of people talking about Isaiah Collier before this season started. Obviously, hopefully, we got some hopeful news, I guess you could say, from LeBron James last night on Bronny, saying that at the end of this month, he's going to have another checkup. They're going to take a look at him. If all goes well there, he'll start practicing. Maybe if all goes well, we could see Bronny James suit up and playing around the start of the year, if I had to guess. So I would love to see that. I think this USC team is going to be really good.
Okay.
And that Pac-12, I mean, we've talked about how good the Pac-12 is in football this year. Maybe one of the top, if not the top conference in college football. We could be saying the same thing about that conference in basketball. And when you look around USC, UCLA, Arizona, if a couple more of those teams could step up and have good years, Arizona State, that's always one that's kind of hovering there. So, I mean, we could be talking about a really good Pac-12 this year.
Stanford lucky to win last night.
Very lucky
Stanford
to win,
was very fortunate to win. And we'll see if the Pac-12 can do it. Because, again, for the Pac-12 in basketball, 1997, Arizona, the last time they won it. For the Big Ten, Michigan State in 2000. No, I couldn't make it to the end last night after I knew I had my W on our picks with the Chargers.
Oh, man.
I was conked out because I didn't sleep any Sunday. And I told you, I was really scuffling Sunday. I've told this audience, I've told people, I have MS, and I had a pretty strong attack Sunday, and you can tell by my voice, I don't know what in the world it was, but in the night, Sunday night, it was like when something goes down the wrong pipe.
Right.
And it was that feeling all night, and I couldn't get my throat clear.
Interesting.
I coughed so – this is an example of how horribly out of shape I am. I coughed so hard, I'm sore from my chest to my pelvis like I've been doing setups. I coughed so hard Sunday night, but just didn't sleep any Sunday. But enough about me. What was the atmosphere like at FedEx Forum?
It was good. It was good. I think you texted me and asked about attendance and sort of, and I kind of said, it's what you would kind of expect for a Monday night game against Jackson State. But I thought the people that were there were really into it. I thought they brought some really good energy. I think Greg Gaston's son, who does a lot with the athletics at the University of Memphis, he tweeted out about the student section. I thought the student section was really good last night. And I noticed this, and I don't know how many other people have noticed this, or if it was just me. It seems like I don't know if this would be under cheer squad, band, pom. I don't know what it would be under, but it seems like there are people stationed right around.
Like a marching band.
Yeah. It's like there's cheer people stationed around the student section to like keep everyone lively, I guess, in the student section.
Keep them stoked.
Which was cool. Yeah, I thought it was a really good atmosphere. I remember at one point, first off, when the starting lineups were announced, they shook up the starting lineup from what we've seen in those two exhibition games. Malcolm Dandridge was put in the starting lineup. Nick Jourdain was also put in the starting lineup. And Caleb Mills and Jordan Brown were the two that came off the bench that had been starting in those two exhibition games. And when Malcolm was announced, a massive applause for him, a really good ovation for the local guy that decided to come back this year. So that was cool. And then, as anybody knows that watched it or listened to it or even really looked at the box score, kind of a slow start for the Tigers. It's kind of what we talked about yesterday. Probably going to be a slow start, new team and opening night. You're probably going to start off slow, and Jackson State gets up by about 6 or so. And the Tigers start coming back, and I think they might have maybe taken a lead or cut it down to maybe a point, and Jackson State took a timeout. Mo Williams, the head coach of Jackson State, which was really cool to see.
Mo Williams.
Yeah, that Mo Williams, and was wearing gold shoes that I noticed at halftime and could not take my eyes off the rest of the game. But at some point there was a timeout called, and it was real loud in there, which I was surprised.
Who's Mo Williams think he is? He going to top Rob Fisher at FedEx Forum?
I mean,
Come
man.
on, Mo.
Now, the rest of the outfit did not come anywhere near Rob Fisher. But the shoes, the gold shoes, we might have to find where he got those and point Rob in that direction so he can get some. But no, I thought it was a really good atmosphere. I thought the fans that were there were really engaged and really into it. And the team looked really good. I mean, I was impressed with what I saw last night.
All the double-digit scores, all the minutes played. Now, the opponent level really goes up Friday night. Yeah. We've known that since the schedule came out.
And another thing, this is probably something that I'm going to say and everyone's going to go, well, obviously. But to be able for Penny Hardaway to get a 3-game suspension and then be able to look down your bench and say, hey, Rick Stansberry, you're up,
a lot of big games.
is really nice. And you could tell
my voice is almost Rick Stansberry.
Yeah, it really is. And you could tell after the post game, I was listening on the radio when Dave was talking to him, and you could just tell kind of it was interesting to hear him kind of talk about coaching as an interim, because I mean he's so used to coaching as a head coach, and he was saying things like, "Oh, I know, I've been in those situations before."
Want to mess it up.
Yeah, you just don't want to mess it up, and I thought it was interesting. I heard a lot of people talking about this that early on in the game when the Tigers were kind of struggling, and Jackson State, who I think is going to be a good team this year. I said it going into this game. They're picked to win the SWAC, and I think they have a really good
schedule.
shot. Brutal schedule, and that should set them up very well for conference play if they can stay healthy. But Rick Stansbury didn't call timeout at all during that time when they were trailing and when they were really struggling early. And he said after the game, I just wanted them to work through this. It's a new group, veteran group. I wanted them to work through that. And I thought that was really cool to see, and this team being able to respond to that.
When he was a head coach, by the end of the year, he had no voice. He had no larynx, no voice box. He got close to maybe doing irreparable damage a lot of years.
I believe it. And no, he seems like I've obviously been seeing him coach, and obviously for years, but I've never really listened to his post-game press conferences or heard him on the radio, after the game.
He's a lot like Jackie Sherrill to me.
Really?
After they left Mississippi State, I learned to like him a lot more.
Yeah.
I kid, State friends.
He just seems
Richard
like a
Williams,
really good coach, and I liked what I heard from him after the game. And one of my favorite things, which you'll hear some coaches say this, I don't think it's as big anymore than what I used to hear coaches, but he's talking to Dave. They're talking about next game, big game against Missouri, and he almost cuts Dave off and goes, "What'd they do tonight?" And Dave's like, well, they won, but I think it was a little close. And he goes, anybody got a final score? Do we know? I'm already thinking about that next game against Missouri.
They beat UAPB, didn't they?
They did. I don't remember the final score though, but they gave him a final score real quick and told him. And he was like, all right, hard, tough to go on the road and win. It was a great opportunity for us. So now I thought all around a great first game for the Tigers. Obviously things to work on. I mean, they got out rebounded by Jackson State. Jackson State grabbed 11 offensive rebounds. Turnovers were pretty high in the first half, but obviously first game of the year, those are things you can fix down the road.
I did an event this summer with Richard Williams, the former Mississippi State basketball coach, and he's just delightful to be around. And really always was, but was very intense. And the Egg Bowl on the hardwoods was very important to him, and it should be. And he asked me, he said, you still hate me? I said, Coach, I never hated you. I said, in fact, I might have been the biggest Ole Miss fan pulling for you at the 96 Final Four. And I'm not kidding you, Bryant. Melted these phone lines that Friday afternoon when I merely asked this question. Ole Miss fans, are you pulling for State this weekend at the Final Four? They were not. and many never forgave me. I said, well, I kind of am.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happens, I guess, sometimes.
And that role he got on with Dante Jones that year.
Yeah.
That was something.
It sure was. But it was a good night, good first night of college basketball for the Tigers, but also just around the country. It was a lot of fun. Not as big of a slate tonight, but we do have some good games tonight.
It's not the totality of games of last night, but you can pick your spots tonight.
Yeah, there's some good games and some
no
interesting
NBA
teams.
Tonight.
Yeah, no NBA tonight, so it will be a lot of MACtion tonight and a lot of college basketball, and maybe I could push a couple of listeners to go watch some NHL tonight. Maybe I might have to work on that. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Dave Woloshin, the voice of the Tigers, will join us. We'll talk Tiger football and Tiger basketball with him, as it's the wild time of the season for him right now as he's juggling both football and basketball for the Tigers. 3:45, we'll get back to this Tiger basketball game against Jackson State, talk a little bit about what we saw last night and also this big game against Missouri Friday night in Missouri will be a big game. We'll preview that a little bit at 3:45. 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville will join us to talk college football. 4:30, after the weekend of action in college football and the NFL, we'll get to what we're certain about in both college football and the NFL. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Beau Marchant will join us to talk NFL. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. But let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. The Overstock Sale. Family Leisure needs your help to clear out their overstock inventory. Select patio sets up to 50% off. Play gyms up under $2,000. Extended sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas, and the winter pool closing items up to 30% off. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off. In-stock items. Family Leisure also has saunas, massage chairs, arcades, and theater seating, all with free delivery and that special financing. It's still available, but only at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Brian. I'm Brett. Johnny Hill with us as well. Our number is 901-360-8255 for text, for call. You can hit us up at 901-360-8255. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. The one and only Lexus dealership in town with great offers on all 2023 models, the remaining 23s, and all the 24s, and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673. But better yet, stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 23 or the even newer 24 LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is the Tigers basketball team with their first game of the season. A win over Jackson State, 94-77. JSU, they led by 6 with 12:20 left in the first half. But like I said earlier, Rick Stansbury really let them play. He wanted to see them kind of work out of that deficit and get back into it. And even after the game, talked about how he wanted to see them play through it. Jaquan Walton, the transfer from Wichita State, I've heard Dave Woloshin in both of those exhibition games that I wasn't able to make to either of them. I heard him during both those games talk about how much bigger Jaquan Walton looked, how much physical more physical he was playing. And I saw that last night. He scored the first 7 points of the game for the Tigers, scored 11 of the first 12 points for the team, and then led the team when the game was over with 19 points. 7 for 11 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3. So a really good game for the Tigers. I thought these transfers came in, played well together, obviously now have been around each other for a couple of months and have been practicing with each other for about a month. So they looked good, and obviously there are some things that you want to see them improve on. I don't think you want to be out-rebounded by Jackson State, and they did. They were out-rebounded 37-34. JSU grabbed 11 rebounds, and those are things that against Missouri, against Virginia, against Texas A&M, those are going to come back to bite you, and those are going to be things you look to after a loss and say, that's the reason we lost the game. Absolutely. Yeah, certainly the Bahamas. So those are things they're going to have to fix, but I think for them to be able to get a 94-77 win and then be able to go today into film room and say, okay, look at that. We've got to capitalize on this, and that. I think they'll look much better Friday night in a big game against Missouri.
My top story, the Big Ten, the NCAA, and Michigan all cruising for a bruising. The Big Ten and the NCAA is going to be forced to have to do something, just to do something. They're going to have to do it soon. Without Harbaugh, it will probably cost Michigan a national championship. But the calls for some punishment, I think, right now are too big, too loud to ignore. I know Michigan's threatening lawyering up and fighting. I don't blame them. You don't get anything any better with the NCAA when you're compliant. You might as well go to the mat with them, because when you're compliant, you're easy to get along with. It does you no good. So might as well fight them. But here are the games for them: at Penn State, home against Maryland, home against Ohio State, and probably maybe the Big Ten championship game against Iowa. There's a loss in there somewhere without Harbaugh and with this storm going on, but you're going to have to do something. All this controversy will be breaking soon. I feel like just any second we're going to be finding out something about Michigan and Jim Harbaugh going forward.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day is now, after yesterday we talked about that game for the Tigers against USF. Now we turn our attention to this week's game against Charlotte. In the depth chart for the Tigers has come out. A lot of questions about Seth Hennigan, a lot of questions about Blake Watson, and on the depth chart, in both of those categories, quarterback and running back, Seth Hennigan or Tevin Carter listed for quarterbacks, Blake Watson or Sutton Smith or Brandon Thomas listed at running back. Another one.
What is it, opening game with all the
Yeah,
oars?
really, a ton of oars. Another oar to keep an eye on is on the offensive line. Jonah Gamble, who's been banged up.
Yeah.
He's listed as or Xavier Hill, who's the starting right tackle, which would mean if Jonah Gamble can't go, Xavier Hill would move over to left guard, and then Terrence McClain would start at right tackle for the Tigers. But a game against Charlotte, a very winnable game. Just survive, and I think
Get
this
well
is
for SMU.
Yes, and I think this is a very winnable game for them. I think if you have to put Tevin in there, if you have to go to Sutton Smith and Brandon Thomas at running back, I think you should be able to and be pretty fine against this Charlotte team.
My not top story, it was Tigers basketball off to a 1-0 start against Jackson State. There was never much doubt about that from when the schedule came out, and really from start to finish, it was comfortable last night for the Tigers. A lot to learn from. The competition, it increases.
Yes.
Exponentially Friday night in Columbia, Missouri against Dennis Gates and the Missouri Tigers. They had a similar game last night in their win against UAPB. Both coaches, Penny Hardaway, Rick Stansberry, Gates, both staffs, Dickie Nutt's on that staff at Missouri, Houston Nutt's brother, they loved last night.
Yeah.
They can get to practice and they can go, look what we got to work on.
Yeah.
They love that.
Absolutely. You can look at those mistakes, and you've got a couple days to try to improve on them or fix them before that big game Friday night. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk Tigers with Dave Woloshin.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Applin and Kirby Whitten and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
Grind don't stop. Join Jaron Dez and your Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow at 7 p.m. when they host the Miami Heat for State of Tennessee HBCU Day, presented by Pinnacle Financial Partners. Secure your tickets today by calling 901-888-HOOP or visiting grizzlies.com.
Sports 56 Traffic.
Good afternoon. Traffic's on the increase right where you pretty much would expect on certain sections of Sam Cooper, especially going outbound, headed back towards I-40. 240, not bad over here right now. Eastbound up by Poplar, 240 looks good as you get on to 385. Bill Morris Parkway, continuing out towards the Collierville area. Again, give yourself extra time out here. Radar in certain areas, especially in Arkansas, down sections of I-40. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry back open better than ever. They're getting ready for Christmas, and so should you. Go by and see them at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Let's welcome longtime voice of the Tigers and host of Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings at 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Dave Woloshin to talk Tigers football and basketball with Bryant and Brett.
Dave Woloshin, the voice of the Tigers, joining us now. Talk some Tiger basketball and some Tiger football as we're to that point of the year where we're juggling both things. Dave, I want to talk with that. I want to start with the basketball game last night against Jackson State, a 94-77 win over the Jackson State Tigers with Rick Stansberry in there as interim coach for Penny Hardaway. What did you make of that performance last night?
I think I was pretty impressed. You're playing for real now. 11 guys played at least 9 minutes, 5 guys double figures, 2 more with 8. You jiggled the starting lineup. I don't know why they did that. Penny had told us after the Lemoyne-Owen game that he didn't like the energy at the beginning and didn't like that first group so much, so he was going to try to do something. I kind of felt Nick, which, by the way, is now Nicholas Jourdain. Oh. Rick called him Nicholas. And when, Danny O'Brien, our producer and our engineer, we try to personalize this. So for our starting lineups on the home team, football and basketball, we get the players to say who they are, where they came from, what position they play. And I noticed that Jourdain said Nicholas.
Okay.
So I went up to him and I said, I've always known you as Nick. At Temple, they called you Nick. What is your name? He goes, I'm Nicholas. They had it wrong in Philly. I kept telling them.
It happens.
My name is Nicholas. And I said, if you want to be called Nicholas, I want you to be happy. We will call you Nicholas.
And Dave, I've always, whatever they want to be called, I'll call them that. And Dave, you know the story. Charles Howell III, the golfer, he says nobody in his life ever called him that. He was a third, but he filled out the original PGA Tour player card like at the first event, and he just listed his name, in full, like I would Adam Brett Norsworthy, or you would David William Woloshin. And that's how it stuck. Charles Howell III, he said nobody ever called him that, but that's how it got stuck. And sometimes places do have it wrong. I'm glad Nicholas got it right.
Yeah, I am too, and that's what I'll call it. I actually told the sports information, Kirk Downs, I said, hey, he wants to be called Nicholas, according to him.
You got it.
He goes, oh, okay, he never told me. So we're going to call him Nicholas. I always thought, it was Thurston Howell III.
No, but the nickname stuck, Charlie Three Sticks.
Yeah, I know. And so I was surprised Malcolm put in the starting lineup with Nicholas, and they got off to a 5-0 start, but then Jackson State played pretty well. Honestly, they're a team that could win the SWAC. They got a little point guard who's really good. They don't have anybody inside, so they lost 2 key guys. They lost a big kid who's 6'9", whose name escapes me at the moment, but he was considered to be one of the 3 best players on the team. The point guard, Chase Adams, was 1. This big kid was 2nd. But really the best player on the team was going to be the very first McDonald's All-American that Jackson State had ever had on their team. And Brett, you know him well, Deshaun Ruffin, who just can't get healthy. So he's out for the year.
His knees are just shot.
Yeah. So that's really sad.
It really is.
They could still win, I think, the SWAC with the guys that they have. They're not a bad team.
Why did they play so fast last night, though?
Say that again?
Why did they play so fast?
I think that's the way Memphis wants to play.
I know Memphis does. Why did Jackson State try to match that, though?
You know what? That's a fair question for Mo Williams, because he only averaged 67 points a game last year. I think because they have that kid Hunt and because they have Chase Adams, who's so quick, and they didn't have big guys, they felt the only way they could really do anything would try to play at a quick pace. No interior game whatsoever, really. I don't blame them. It's just that they turned the ball over too many times. I mean, that really killed them. And Memphis is just a better team than they are. Memphis has 11 guys they can play. Tell you the guy that really impressed me the most, you're not going to believe this unless you're listening to my show this morning. I don't know what they're going to do about Jonathan Pierre.
Yeah.
Jonathan Pierre is a guy who played at Nova Southeastern last year, Division II school. He's a big guy. He's legit 6'9", 6'10". He hit 44 threes a year ago, guys. He hit 44 threes. I'm going to ask you, if you don't know, just to take a guess. If you know, don't worry about it. You know. How many does this perimeter 6'10" guy, how many assists do you think he had last year?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
114.
Wow.
He's the best
Holy
passer
cow.
on the team. Have you seen some of his passes in the exhibition game and last night?
Oh, yeah.
He had 2 assists last night. I'm telling you, the guy is an incredible passer. He can hit threes. He's got length. He can run. And he's like the 10th guy in the team. Unless Penny goes 10 deep, I don't know what you do with a guy like that. I mean, he's really an intriguing piece to this puzzle. That's how deep they are. I think Javon Quinterly, who we know is going to be good, is still not there yet. David Jones, who I'm totally in love with, I think he's going to get the numbers that DeAndre Williams got on a regular basis last year. He's got to do a better job of holding on to the ball. He had like 4 or 5 turnovers last night, like in the first 3 minutes. So he's got to value the ball better. But between him and Walton, I mean, one of those 2 guys is going to have a great game every night. They just are.
When I heard you say it a couple of times during the first 2 exhibition games about how much bigger Jaquan Walton looks from what he looked like at Wichita State last year, and he really does, and a great game from him. What have you noticed in kind of that size and physicality from what he did at Wichita State?
I think he's a little bit bigger, but he was a really good player at Wichita State.
Oh, yeah.
This kid is a solid guy. I'm trying to remember where he started. Maybe he started at Georgia. Is that right? I think he started at Georgia, and he played against Missouri. He was saying last night at Georgia. So this guy's been around, and he's athletic. He's strong. Once he figures out exactly what Penny and Sansbury want, I just think he's going to be great. And I think one of those 2 guys every night is going to deliver a big game. I can't tell you which one on which night, and maybe some nights it'll be both, but I would bet there's not going to be a night both those guys lay stinkers.
Dave, you just said it. I think you want guys that have been around.
Yeah.
Well, the average age, at least of the first 2 starting lineups, not the one that was jiggled yesterday, but it would probably be appropriate. The average age of the Tigers starting lineup was 23 years old.
Yeah. That's older than the Detroit Pistons.
I know. Isn't that something?
That is incredible. But age
Welcome
helps.
to college basketball 2023.
Right.
I don't mind it. Dave, I don't mind. First of all, I wanted the player liberation. I wanted the player freedom. If the coaches can do what they can do and have done to teams walking out in the middle of recruiting dinners, then what's good for one is good for the other. Also, around college basketball, I think it creates, he's there. Oh, he's there. I want to watch so-and-so there. I don't think it's bad at all. And I heard you this morning with Mike DeCourcy make a great case for DeAndre Williams when we need stories. We need star power in college basketball. DeAndre Williams brought some panache to it.
This is my 3rd time to rant this. The DeAndre Williams case is really incredibly sad for me. And I'll give you the 3 reasons why. One is the kid. College basketball, now that we're NIL, which is really another word for saying pro, now that we can get these guys, a guy who's a really, really, really good college player, but isn't the right size or the right fit for the pro game. He can make more money through NIL, a lot more money, than he can the G League or some lower-level European league. Mm-hmm. So the kid can make more money. So you just cost DeAndre Williams a good chunk of change that he could just start out his life, that he could have. Now, he'll make money as a pro, but he just lost a big revenue year. the Tigers lose a big part that could have made them
a
a
branded
Final Four team.
star.
Yeah, but that's the third thing. The sport, the NCAA, hurts themselves. They've got a built-in star that ESPN, CBS, you name it, at TNT when they do these games in the tournament, they all want marketed guys that people like. You always want, it's the old Roone Arledge theory, up close and personal.
Tell a story.
If you get to meet the athlete, then you start to care about the athlete.
Yep.
And we would have cared about DeAndre Williams and his story. The NCAA just shut down, for no apparent reason, a guy that could have been a star that would have helped themselves, their own sport. It's so dumb, it just makes me sad.
And it's hard to rank the dumbest things the NCAA that they do or they've done.
Yeah, it is.
But the kind of the Twitter meme verbiage of, boy, I bet they're really fun at parties, that's the NCAA. Biggest sticks in the mud ever.
It's just, and they cut off their nose to spite their face. They just do. There's no
And
sense.
now it could break them with the class action.
Well, it could. And, I mean, if I were Don Jackson, I think it is, that is the lawyer for DeAndre Williams, he said there was plenty of precedent that DeAndre would win his case. I know Penny Hardaway believed that. I would sue on what the NIL money would have been for him this year, because they just took it right out of his pocket.
Yeah, they sure did. Talking to Dave Woloshin, the voice of the Tigers. Let's transition and talk some football game this weekend against Charlotte, at Charlotte. And the kind of the biggest question going into the weekend, Seth Hennigan and Blake Watson are both kind of listed as day-to-day, I guess you could say. That's what Ryan Silverfield said yesterday. What have you heard about both those guys, and what is your feeling on will they or won't they play on Saturday?
Well, come on, Brian. If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
That's true.
We can't go that far.
No, the truth is this. He's day-to-day. They're both day-to-day. And you know what? They're going to be day-to-day tomorrow.
Yep.
Oh, what? Guess what? They're going to be day-to-day on Thursday.
We're all
They're
day-to-day.
going to be day-to-day when we fly on Friday. They're going to be day-to-day until we see warm-ups on Saturday, because Ryan Silverfield is not going to tell Biff Pokey. He's not going to tell anybody in Charlotte exactly what he's going to have on the field. My gut is, just from watching Hennigan walk out of the locker room with me on Saturday after the postgame, that he's going to figure out a way to play. That's just my gut. And with Blake Watson, I really don't know. I think it's an ankle, and that just depends on how much treatment you get and how quickly it can heal. But they're not going to let anybody know. So, and I don't blame them. That's just the way it is this day and age. I think they should do like the NFL does and make them do a probability report, and then if they're caught lying, they're fined or whatever. I can't stand the paranoia of coaches. I really can't. But here's the one thing about it: they're all the same. So
that's right.
That's true.
Because one is they all are.
Everybody gives it as good as they get it.
Yeah. And I've learned to deal with it. Look, a guy like Greg Gaston, who does such a great job on the sidelines for our broadcast, he can tell when a guy's going in the 10th. He can tell you if it's lower leg. He can't even say it's his right knee. He's not going to play it. Not on the air,
right,
because that's the HIPAA rule.
Yep.
They don't want anybody to know anything.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a fun one. Last thing for you, what do you know about the Charlotte team? What do you expect Saturday against the 49ers?
Well, I know they've won 2 out of their last 3, and they won them on the road.
That's right.
They won at East Carolina, which is not an easy place to play. Asked Tulane, that just barely got out of there, 13-10 on Saturday. They won at Tulsa, and the only time Memphis wins at Tulsa is when they miss field goals.
That's true.
It's not an easy place to play. I know that Ryan Silverfield, Biff Pogge's an interesting story.
Very.
We all see him as like this buffoonish character, right?
No.
That wears the sleeveless things, thinks he's Pat McAfee, I guess. Wears the sleeveless thing, talks in a braggadocious way. The truth is, he married a billionaire.
Not
He's
bad.
smart as could be. He managed a hedge fund, and a lot of people think, well, he must be a heck of a businessman. What does that got to do with football? He's a football guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the staff with Jim Harbaugh on the offensive side of the ball at Michigan. The guy knows what he's doing, and because he's a good businessman, according to Silverfield, he has amassed a tremendous NIL fund. So they're going to be good in the future because they're going to buy the players.
Yep.
And we've had this conversation before, but welcome to 2023 and 24. That's what it is. Kids don't care, not one bit anymore, about how cool the locker room is, what kind of stadium they're going to be in, what's their dorm look like, is there a waterfall somewhere in the locker room? They don't care about that anymore. Here's what they care about. How much money are you going to pay me? Because the guy on Team X just offered me $120,000. Can you beat that? And if you can, I don't care what the locker room looks like. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Even players demanding money for official visits.
Wow. Now, I hadn't heard that one, so you've enlightened me today. Why not?
That's incredible. Yep. That's incredible. What should be
money on the front end, just a flirt.
Yeah, why not? Well, it should be a fun one on Saturday. Dave, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
You got it.
Thank you, Dave.
Brett,
talk tomorrow.
I'll talk to you tomorrow at 10:25.
I'll be in studio if traffic allows.
All right.
You got it, man.
Thank
you, Dave.
Bye-bye.
Dave Woloshin, the voice of the Tigers, joining us every Tuesday afternoon to talk Tiger. It's been Tiger football, but now it's going to be Tiger football and Tiger basketball with the season underway. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that game last night for the Tigers and this upcoming matchup against Missouri on Friday. That's next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time for the holidays.
Blah, humbug.
What, you're not all excited for the turkey and dressing and cranberry sauce?
The cooking, the cleaning, the relatives.
Well, you got people coming in from out of town?
Hi, so many people.
It'll be fun.
All I want to do is go to Central Barbecue.
That's all you ever want to do.
Alone.
Come on, it's the holidays.
Just sitting there in a booth all by myself, enjoying Central Barbecue, no family, being all festive.
Well, you enjoy your own private Central Barbecue holiday.
That is all I ask.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including carts. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Genesis Diamond's first ever 3-day store-wide sale is this weekend. 3 days of mind-blowing savings, up to 35% off. Earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, plus thousands of engagement rings, all on sale. Designer jewelry has been flown in from New York and California for this. Certified diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Don't miss the biggest and best store-wide event all year. Save 20, 30, even 35%. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only. And only at Genesis Diamonds. Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And we've been talking a lot about the Tigers today, their first game last night against Jackson State was a victory. And Brett, we didn't mention it earlier, but that win last night, the way the Tigers won it, that's a W in the book for you and myself in Tiger Bankroll. But
we saved Johnny.
Yeah, we saved Johnny. A loss for
in
Johnny
the first
to
game.
start. It's all right, Johnny. A long season. There's time to come back. But for you, Brett, a quick $100.
I was grinding the end of the game, too.
I bet. I'll be honest, I told you this when I first saw you earlier today. Late in the game, when it was really close, it was hovering around that spread, around that line.
94-75.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was sitting there. I was at the game with a couple of my buddies and my little brother, and I was saying, man, I would almost rather Memphis cover the spread here. I'd rather go 0-1 in Tiger Bankroll than for Brett to be up $100 to start the season.
Be tapped out after first game,
exactly.
Are a big hit. And, with that win last night, Joey Brackett's dropped the Tigers a spot in bracketology.
So what are they, 9? No, 8?
A 9 seed now.
Wow. So who does Joey Brackett? I'm ashamed I have not seen this bracket yet.
Mino Bruce Pearl in Auburn.
Really?
8 versus 9 winner gets Duke in Charlotte.
Wow. Oh, great.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, yeah, that's what a way to start the tournament.
I was looking to see who he has
in Memphis
as his Valley team.
Oh.
He has Drake. Drake's in the Valley, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Northern Iowa.
Okay, it could be a team. Yeah.
Keep an eye on them.
Oh yeah,
they're in the Bahamas, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're the one team that's not like a top 50 Kimpom team or something. Yeah,
and especially if they make threes.
Sure, absolutely.
But who does he have in Memphis? That's a good question. Memphis. Oh yeah, UCLA, Iowa State.
Okay.
Creighton, UNC, Asheville.
Okay.
And who else?
I can get down for some of those teams.
Illinois, St. John's.
Oh, I can definitely
Texas,
get up for
Colgate.
That. Oh, I can get up for all those teams. Oh yeah.
Let's keep this a lot simpler than this. Send Tennessee, Arkansas, or Kentucky here, and make sure you have a crowd. That's why we do the pod system.
No, that would be helpful. That would be helpful. But Auburn, we'll get to see Auburn tonight. A big game for them against Baylor tonight on ESPN.
Two great coaches.
Yeah, two great coaches, and we'll see. I know John, of course, Johnny Radio. When he had David on, he had to ask David. Well, what you like in this game tonight? You gotta pick in this game. Why. Yeah, who knows? And David said he likes Auburn tonight. So
I saw John limping today, and I told him when he started playing kickball, I said, "You're going to get hurt."
Well,
last game of the year, he does.
And I felt some sort of way because I'm talking to him this morning while he's starting the show. He's telling me about his foot; it still hurts, and yada yada yada. And then he says, "I played in a kickball game last night." I said, wait a minute, John. We got to back up here. You were complaining yesterday morning about your foot hurting and saying yesterday morning you thought you broke your foot. Why did you play a kickball game last night?
It just got worse.
And he was like, I couldn't let my team down. It was the last kickball game of the season. And of course, it was worse today. And I think he was going to the doctor.
He gave his all for his kickball team.
I mean, hey, that's what it's all about. That's competition, sport. That's what we're all here for. It's for the love of the game.
But Friday night in Columbia, that is a good test for both sides.
Absolutely.
And I love these games. When we talked about the Tigers in the 13-game non-conference, it's really 11.
Right.
Because you had Jackson State and Alabama State as gimme W's, but Tony Medlock's club played Ole Miss tough last night, and they will be in here next week, a week from Friday.
Yes.
But Mizzou Friday night, that's a good barometer. See where you are. See what you have to improve on.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough game for both teams, I think, and obviously anytime you go on the road, especially a true road game this early in the season, it's gonna be tough, and so it's not gonna be easy. Dennis Gates, what we saw from him last year from a coaching standpoint, I mean that was a team, Brett, that nobody before the season saw coming, and then 2 months into the season, they're hosting, game day as a ranked team, starting conference play against another ranked SEC team.
Got the Magic back at
absolutely
at the arena in Missouri.
Yeah, and so this is a team. Dennis Gates, coaches with a passion and really finds ways to get his team up for any opponent. And I just love his coaching style. I love him as a coach. So this is going to be a good challenge. And I think, like I said earlier, being able to, and this is no knock against any of Penny's assistant coaches or any of Penny Hardaway's former assistant coaches, but when you're able to look at your bench when you have to sit out for a game and be able to say, Rick Stansbury, who has all of these years of head coaching experience, step up.
In a bad situation, ideal.
That is, super ideal. And so
future Tiger opponent, Texas A&M Saturday.
Yeah.
A well-placed Texas A&M athletics department official, Ross Bjork.
Yeah.
we were visiting and spanning the globe on subject matter.
Sure.
And he says he thinks, and he says Buzz Williams thinks this can be a Final Four team.
Wow.
At Texas A&M.
Really? I know.
True or false? A&M ever been to a Final Four?
False.
Very false.
Okay, good. What does that make me? 2-1 and
we're not keeping score though.
No. This is a really good Texas A&M team, bringing back a lot of talent, and I know a lot of voters for the preseason SEC poll were split between Tennessee and Texas A&M of who would be the winner of that conference.
Kentucky's going to be good. Arkansas is going to be good.
This is going to be a really good SEC.
Should be.
You look around and there's some really, really good and talented teams, and some teams that could make a jump this season. Florida could be a team that could make a jump from last year. Mississippi State got to the NCAA tournament. Maybe they can make another jump this year. So it's going to be a good SEC. Alabama's certainly going to be good. Grant Nelson, what he did last night, I think 24 points in his first game was really, really fun to see.
Don't you know in Tuscaloosa that they were glad to turn the temperature down on last year?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Just get to a new year.
Yeah, and so this team looks like it can be very capable to compete in the SEC, and so it's going to be a really good SEC. And Missouri is one of those teams that's right there in the mix. So it'll be a good test for the Tigers. I know we'll talk more about this game as the week goes on, especially Friday afternoon. We'll talk a lot about it, and we'll talk to Jason Munns about that game a couple hours before tip-off. But let's go ahead and wrap up this hour, get to a break. When we come back, we're going to switch gears a little. We're going to talk some college football with Brent Beard.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep. That means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now, this is the weather Sunrise was made for. You can enjoy sunrise downtown on Jefferson or sunrise east on Poplar all year long. But there's something special about tucking into a hot, fresh, delicious breakfast when there's just a bit of cool in the air. It's true for lunch, too. There's nothing like a perfect burger when you've got your coat hanging on the back of your chair. You know the food at both Sunrise locations is made just for you when you order it. And now you can enjoy it while you're not being outside in the cold. Warm up with some Sunrise.
Sports 56 traffic.
Afternoon, that traffic volume starting to build, headed south of Memphis down the interstate here on 55 southbound down through DeSoto County through South Haven as well. It's increasing right on schedule, if you want to call it that, on 240 east from Mill Branch out to 385. Billmores Parkway itself looks good, passing Riverdale as you continue out into Collierville. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, they're back open better than ever. 7525 Highway 64. Go by and see David and the family at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brett.
Brent Beard will join us momentarily. We're catching up with him. I know he's got a speaking engagement tonight as he's speaking to a Gator Club meeting. Good luck with that, trying to explain that result Saturday against the Razorbacks. Really one of the mystifying performances of the year was when Tennessee went down there and played like they did. If Tennessee didn't win this year at the Swamp, then they really may never win down there ever again. For Arkansas to get that win that Arkansas so badly needed Saturday in the Swamp in overtime, first Arkansas win ever there. We will talk with Brent on all things college football with another Tuesday night release tonight. We will get the college football playoff Final Four or all the ranking, but we'll see the teams if it ended today, how it would look come bowl time and after the conference championship games. I think tonight that Georgia should be the number one ranked team. I think they've done enough to move there. I know they are in the AP, but we're at the time of the year that the AP only matters on Sunday afternoon for about 30 minutes or so when it's first released, because everything around college football centers on that tonight. And with the news that Ward Manuel, the athletics director at Michigan and a prominent member of the committee, is not there, then that tells me we're getting closer to traction on something with the Big Ten and the NCAA with the Michigan Wolverine football program. I have not been as exercised and angry as so many others out there have been around college football about it. For the biggest reason is I know it's got to be going on other places. I know it didn't start in Michigan. Now, is that much of an excuse? I mean, really and truly, everybody's doing it. That's not much of an excuse. But there are people that want – I mean, it's bloodlust out there, Bryant, for people that want a piece of Michigan. I'm just not there at all. I mean, you hear some that they don't want Harbaugh coaching again this year, don't want him in the playoffs. I think that's a little much. Brent Beard joins us now. We'll start right there with him and his opinion on Michigan. Brent, good afternoon. Do you think Michigan gets an in-season de facto death penalty?
No. Look, hey, Brian, as I said before, I say this often, but I learned probably 10 to 20 years ago from Brent Norworthy that you follow the money.
Yep.
And convince me, guys, that the Big Ten is going to get rid of their cash cow that has a chance to win the national championship. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We're not talking Illinois or Wisconsin here.
No, absolutely not. No. But guys, I'm trying not to be cynical here, but I'm just trying to be realistic.
Truthful. It's not cynicism.
It's
honesty.
But guys, here's the reality, right? They're gonna do a lot of posturing to say, okay, we tried to punish him, but this federal judge or this decided we couldn't do that. So we're washing our hands of it. Yeah, am I anywhere near what might happen?
I think you're right over the target, and we know all too often, especially around college sports, just the appearance of trying to do something kind of suffices.
Yeah.
Well, look, I know they're all up in arms.
Most notably in Columbus.
Yeah. Now, look, I'm not calling out any names here, but usually when you have a reaction that's like this, there's some guilt involved because some of them are doing the same thing.
And I can't prove that. I don't know exactly of another one doing it, but I also know that nothing's new.
No. Now, look, they have been, Brett and I have seen this for about, what, Brett, 30 to 40 years?
I can remember in the 70s and an assistant coach dressed as a part of a painting crew spying on Oklahoma practices, and he used to coach at my high school.
Absolutely. So look, Brian, the thing we learn with this is there is nothing new under the sun. I've had coaches tell me that, and they were talking about offenses and defenses, and their comment was, I don't care what you call it, we've seen it before.
That's right. So tonight, I think Georgia should be number one. How do you think the top four will look tonight?
Probably, yeah, I don't have any problem with that. Frankly, I don't see the committee punishing Michigan and pushing them down. Do you guys?
Well, Ohio State was one last week, but I think the Georgia win over Mizzou was enough to vault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yes. So, but I mean, you've obviously got Florida State. You've got Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Here's what bugs me, Brent. When we've had games this year, it really bothered me for weeks hearing, and now with 3 losses, I don't think we're going to hear it very much. Well, Ole Miss won, but LSU's really better.
Yeah.
And then I hear Sunday from somebody I think a lot of, and he appears on this station, Barrett Sallee, and Barrett joins our morning show, and he's a terrific guy and a terrific guest, but he was making a very impassioned case for Oregon really being better than Washington. Now, if they rematch in the Pac-12 championship game and beat them, I will give him all due credit. But to right now, they have played on the field, and Washington beat them. I don't know how you can say it with such surety that they're better when just a few weeks ago they played.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's like Alabama being ahead of Texas.
They're not. They shouldn't be.
So again, I'm with you. I'll be very curious how it goes. And guys, I won't belabor the point here, but right now, everything we're doing, I can't help but fast forward to next year and be thinking about how are we going to be dealing with this a year from now when we're dealing with a whole lot more teams.
Oh, yeah.
And my Lord, if we've got this kind of anger and so forth at this point of the season,
imagine number 13
what in the world?
next year.
Yeah, what in the world are we going to have next year?
It won't shock me next year that 13, 14 just left out. We don't want to go to a bowl.
Sure.
We're not going to fill in the blank crummy bowl.
Yeah, you might be right.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I really need y'all's prayers tonight because
man.
I'm speaking to the St. Augustine Gator Club. So what I'm trying to do is, and listen, bless their heart, they actually text me today and say, can you please come up with some positive things to say? And, and I texted back, and I said, yes, I will. But, you've got to still be realistic about this stuff. But I can tell you this, I'm not saying they're going to win, but if Daniels doesn't play Saturday, and you've got Nussmeier and you've got that defense, frankly, that is average or below, I'm not saying that they've got a puncher's chance, don't they?
All-time series in that series. It's one of the great game nuggets this week. 33 to 3.
That's right.
Holy cow.
Yeah. How in the world would you come up with that? But that's a great series. And I can tell you this, LSU hates Florida.
And it's reciprocated.
Yes. There's no doubt about that. So I mean, they're not even in the same division if you got that, but you've got you just had bizarre games between those two teams, and a lot of it happens in Baton Rouge. You know, you've had shoot throwing and all kinds of stuff that's going on there. So that's going to be pretty fascinating.
Well, speaking of the Gators, and you kind of alluded to it just a second ago talking about LSU, but what does that loss mean for Billy Napier now sitting at 5-4 and for this team with these 3 games coming up, LSU, Missouri, and FSU?
Well, look, at this point, unless they can upset somebody, the only way they're going to get into a bowl game is APR.
Yeah.
And if they don't have enough slots and they choose somebody in order to go to a bowl. Now, again, this is a very young football team. They have made a lot of mistakes, but look, what I don't understand that there's, and I'll be brief about this, but there's 2 things good that's got to be done. Napier's got to bring in an offensive coordinator and let somebody else call the plays, and they have desperately got to have a special teams coach. Just for that, because
they
they're
literally
special.
Don't have one, do they?
No. Here's what Napier said Saturday night in the press conference. He actually admitted that we've got a player, not a coach, guys, but a player who responds with there's a code word. I think it's fire. That when the team's supposed to run on the field, so the player, thinking that it was time to go on the field, yelled that. So they went on the field. And look, it may not have happened, but I'm just telling you, if that field goal he missed, 43 yards, if that's 38, that 5 yards, I think that the thing would have gone through, and they're happy, and they made a bowl game. But now they're in a lot of trouble with who in the world wants to play LSU, Missouri, and Florida State right now?
Nobody. Not many. And Florida's also on a lot of bowl projections to come to Memphis for the first time, and it's the only remaining SEC team to have never appeared in the Liberty Bowl.
Well, I'll tell you what might happen, too.
Can they give tickets away to come to Memphis?
Yes, I understand that. Absolutely. Now, there's a little bit of talk here that if they qualified, then the Gator Bowl may give that a try, just to have a good crowd. So, but again, there are funny things happen in that bowl pecking order after it gets going.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard people around here. I've heard people on television, on the radio, saying that Billy Napier's job is in jeopardy.
No.
Okay, so that's not a thing down in Florida.
No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Matter of fact, since I've got y'all, let me mention something else along that line. But let me deal with that first. No, the higher ups in the administration are not going to fire him, even if they lose the rest of the games. They know that he's got a steep hill to climb. Mm-hmm. They know Mullen left him virtually nothing on the cupboard, so he's not going to be fired this year. Now, if they're still playing and still doing the same things this time next year,
right,
we're probably having a different conversation. So now I've also heard from some of my Gator media friends who were at the Arkansas game who talked to Gator media, and I'm curious if y'all heard something similar, that Pittman is coming back next year because they really don't want to deal with the buyout right now in Arkansas. So, and look, and I'm just being selfish here. I like Sam Pittman. I know a lot of people do. I hope he comes back. I know they got to get better. But listen, could we see that, guys, in more than one or two schools that okay, well, we're going to try this another year to see if it gets better because we can't deal with the money.
Well, there's very few times that we don't have any movement.
Yeah.
And if it's not Pittman, if it's not Jimbo, if it's not Billy Napier, then it's not going to be anybody else. It's not going to be Stoops. It's not going to be Brian Kelly. Mississippi State could be in play.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I could see that. I mean, they're trying to. I think they're trying to figure out where they need to go. I like Arnett, and look, he may be a really good head coach one day, but is he going to be able to do it now, or does he need some seasoning?
Mm-hmm. He really drew a tough hand,
he did.
Out of the true sadness of losing Coach Mike Leach. Brent Beard with us. Brent, any way the ACC starts devouring itself, any chance the U can upset FSU?
Boy, if they the problem is Tyler Van Dyke is throwing almost as many interceptions as he has completions. So they've got a real problem there. It's possible, but that rivalry is still too fierce. Now, here's a reality for that, though. That used to be one of the biggest rivalries in college football. Yeah. But the shame of it right now is nobody's talking about that game, and that tells you something, doesn't it? But no, I just don't see that. Florida State's too good, and they're better defensively than they have been. Jordan Travis is having a great year. Don't know about Keon Coleman and the Wilson kid did not play at wide receiver. They need to get those two guys back. But even with that, I still just don't think that Miami can win the game. And guys, I've said this to various Gator clubs, and I don't know if people really understand this. As big a rebuilding job as Florida has, frankly, Miami's got one too. And it's easy to pile on Napier with all this, and I get some of that, but Miami has got a long road to hoe too as far as recruiting and getting up and going themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Brent, what did you make of Clemson after losing to North Carolina State last week? The whole phone call at the coaches show for them to be able to bounce back and beat Notre Dame at home this weekend.
Yeah, and they really needed that. That was a circle the wagons type game. It gave them a reprieve, but guys, doesn't Dabo have to at the end of the year swallow some of his pride and be able to get some of these transfers in? And again, as we've said before, I don't mean bring 20 of them in, but if he brought 5 of them that really made a difference, they could have a different season next year.
Oh yeah,
it appears like they could, but he's been very resistant to it. But we've seen him yield on other things, because he said a few years ago when we started paying the players, he's out. He hadn't gone anywhere.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not going to, because he's getting paid a handsome sum himself. Now again, I like Dabo. He's done a lot to help a lot of people, and hopefully they can be able to get that turned around. But at this point, and you guys told me this might happen, is that Mike Norvell, once some of that settled down, he has been able to take this program to heights they haven't seen in quite a while.
Brent, several weeks ago we were talking SEC Coach of the Year, and a lot of people are saying Eli Drinkwitz. I have no issue with that. Yeah, many are saying, tell me how the season ends for Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. I have no issue with that at all. But I said a few weeks ago my SEC Coach of the Year was Nick Saban, Nicholas Lou Saban. Yep. And since then he's done nothing to detract from it. Now, I got to be very delicate about what I'm getting ready to say. I think he should be lauded. He should be praised for the in-season job that he's done. But we've got to quit making it sound like he took over at East Texas State.
Well,
every one of these players were the hand-picked players.
Oh, sure.
I would say of his starting 22, 20 could start for every team that would be listed tonight in that CFP top 10.
Oh, yeah. Well, and there's no doubt about that. Now the reason I would agree with you on that, and that'd be a tough call as far as whoever it would be, is because
we got to quit talking about him turning water into wine.
Yeah. But the reality is what he did with this group after and how they looked against Texas and South Florida. I mean, this is almost a different team that they have developed since September.
It is, but we're almost giving him credit and he deserves credit. That's why I said it was delicate. This is hard for me, and I love him. He's my second favorite coach of all time. Coach Paul Bear Bryant, number one. But we're almost giving him credit for putting out the fire that he started.
Well, and I get that too, and I understand that, particularly in the quarterback situation and on the offensive line. Now, the best thing he did was for Kevin Steele to come in and the job that he's done, and Steele just is doing it different,
and especially at half-times.
Yeah. Listen, we're being facetious, but you understand this. If they could bottle what they're doing at halftime right now, they can make $1 million off that, couldn't they?
They sure could. I mean, there's some coaching going on. What they did at halftime to Ole Miss, what they did Saturday night to LSU. A year from now, here's my prediction. 1 year from right now, Brian Kelly is going to be he's going to be at it with LSU fans. He's not going to win enough to pacify them.
That's possible. Yes, but I still say he knows what he's doing, and he's a good coach. But Brad, to your point, are they going to? And it's not just a loss to Alabama. I mean,
he's got 3 losses this year.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If he loses to A&M, he's going to have the same number of losses this year as Jimbo has.
Yeah, that's right. And they're not going to take that very well. And frankly, they shouldn't, should they?
They shouldn't. And that schedule is very difficult next year. And while I like the adult in the room persona that he brings, that CEO, that bigger than life, the gravitas that he brings. They want a coach that wins national titles, and they don't care if he eats grass or if he sounds like a fool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I'll say this, in order for them to do that, guys, their defense has got to be on another level than what it is right now.
Absolutely. It's got to be better.
The very idea that LSU, and I think I know why, that they lost that linebacker to Texas A&M, Edgerrin Cooper from Covington, Louisiana. That can't happen.
No.
If his NIL price is $1 million, drop a house, drop $2 million.
Well, it is and listen, when you lose a kid from Louisiana, that doesn't go over real well.
No. Not at all. Not at all. Brent, before we let you go, we got some big SEC games this weekend. Game day is going to be at one of them down in Athens. Ole Miss traveling down to Georgia. We'll see where both these teams are after we get our college football playoff rankings. Tonight we'll see if Ole Miss moves up a little bit. Same with Georgia, if they can move up to number 1. But what do you make of this game? Ole Miss obviously playing really well through conference play. Georgia kind of doing what Georgia does. What do you make of this one on Saturday?
Well, I was asked last week who might beat Georgia between Florida, Missouri, Ole Miss, and Tennessee, and I said Ole Miss.
Wow.
I think Ole Miss has got, and help me on this, Brett. I think they have got the maturity now that they can actually go the fourth quarter and even win a game like this. The defense is getting better. I don't see the Tennessee beating them. I don't think Milton can do that, but I could see Dart doing that. But that's going to be that's going to be a whale of a game.
It's going to take the A-plus game for Ole Miss. This will be the 17th time Ole Miss has played number 1. They're 1-15 in the previous 16. The only win was 2014 over Alabama. I think it's the biggest November game in Ole Miss football history.
Yeah. I certainly think you could say that. I would agree with that. But I tell you guys, these other games, Florida and LSU, Tennessee and Missouri, and I'm going to even throw Kentucky, Alabama in there because it's an 11 o'clock kick. Bama's been told all week how great they are. If they sleepwalk through, I'm not saying Kentucky's going to win the game, but Kentucky's good enough to where that they could cause some real problems.
And styles make fights, and that Kentucky style could make for a good fight.
It could. It could. And if Bama's not, if they're not awake and ready to play, they could get in an early hole and be spending a lot of that game trying to get out of it.
Brent, next year's LSU non-conference schedule, we're going to get conference, and we're going to get not only conference games in December in about a month. We're going to get TV times in the springtime, and then we'll get a lot of TV times. And I'm not talking, the 12-day stuff. We're going to get a lot of game times, I'm told, for next year. At Destin and at Media Days. But here's the LSU schedule next year. USC on Labor Day night in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Nichols, UCLA in Baton Rouge, South Alabama in Baton Rouge. I'm telling you now, the loser of USC LSU, that coach is on the hot seat. Lincoln Riley or Brian Kelly, because those fans want more.
Yes. Well, but see, if LSU's defense is struggling, Kelly would make a move. The problem is, and I know what Riley did in getting rid of Grinch, but they've got to make a priority on defensive players, or they're going to continue to be in trouble.
That over and under could be 85.
Easily. Yeah, that could be a basketball game almost.
Yeah, it really could. Well, Brent, thanks so much for joining us
tonight.
Yeah, good luck tonight
Thank
talking
you.
to those Florida faithful, and we'll do it again next week.
Good. Can't wait. Take care.
Thanks, Brent. Brent Beard joining us from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. He joins us every single Tuesday afternoon to talk some college football. But let's go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back after a weekend of action, we're going to talk about what we're certain of in college football and the NFL. That's next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. Schedule your holiday gift deliveries today at hogsfly.com.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep. That means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. They did move a wreck from earlier on 240 eastbound just past Airways. They had traffic a little bit slow as of last check there between Mill Branch and Airways going eastbound on 240. It's busy where you would expect this time of the afternoon, especially trying to get out of Midtown, coming southbound on 240 all the way down to Norris as traffic continues to build south of Memphis on 55 headed towards DeSoto County. Hey, get rid of that old junk car right now by calling Memphis for junk cars. Of course, it's area code 901-258-8999. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
All right, Brett, another week of action in the book. Now that we've got Monday behind us and the NFL week is officially done, we got to get to what we're certain of in both college football and the NFL. I'll let you start. Where you want to start off with, college or the NFL?
I'll start with college, and I'm certain of this. On the field, it has to matter. Texas, to right now, by defeating Alabama, I know they have the loss, but Alabama has a loss to Texas. That makes Texas better. The second they go to two losses, if they were to slip this week and Alabama wins, then Alabama has preference over them. Same for Oregon and Washington. I don't think there's any more case to be made about Ole Miss and LSU for anyone. If Texas goes on and wins the Big 12 championship, they're 12-1. Alabama goes on and wins the SEC championship, and they're 12-1. I don't know where they are, whether it's first, second, or third, but I know who should be ahead. Should be Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I'm certain of, and it's coming from the Big 12, same conference as Texas, Bedlam should continue. I mean, that game on Saturday was so much fun. There is no reason why this rivalry should end. It's fun every single year. You never know what to expect. Oklahoma, I mean, Brett, I remember both of us talking about this game on Friday and last week with a lot of guests, just talking between us of there's very little chance that Oklahoma, after losing to Kansas, goes out and loses to Oklahoma State, and they did, and that just shows you rivalry. And so, it's starting to become real. We've been talking for about a year and a half now of we're going to see a lot of rivalries die. This is going to be the last time we see these rivalries for, if not ever, a long time, a couple of years. And so to see Bedlam end and to see most of that game, I didn't get to see all of it because I was at the Tigers game. But, I was a little sad watching that and thinking, we're not going to get this next year. We're not going to get the year after that. Who knows the next time we see Bedlam, and it's always a great game.
I don't think we will, unless it's a bowl game.
That kills me. And I mean, it's always so much fun.
Texas A&M never did. Now they will
they'll
next year.
Get back to it,
and I'm pretty sure of this. I think that's going to knock the Egg Bowl out of the Thanksgiving slot.
Really?
I think that the networks will want Texas and Texas A&M. They were kind of in that slot a lot of years anyway, and it could slide Ole Miss and State, the Egg Bowl, to a noonish, 11 o'clock-ish Friday afternoon game, because college football is going to have to try to do something to blunt the NFL now taking over. They're going to try to take over the day after Thanksgiving with their game this year. And in 2007 and 2008, the Egg Bowl was played on Friday afternoon.
Really?
2007 Starkville, 2008 in Oxford, yes.
Interesting. Another thing I'm certain of, after seeing what Clemson did on Saturday against North Dakota. North Dakota. Brett, I've been gambling on basketball.
I know you have.
North Dakota plays Iowa tonight. After beating Notre Dame. If Michigan can hire a former military spy to spy on opposing teams, Clemson can hire Tyler from Spartansburg just to walk in to Dabo's office every day and belittle him and ask him why he's making the amount of money he's made to motivate him week after week.
Tell me why no local TV crew, no local radio crew, no nothing has found Tyler from Spartanburg.
That's a good question. He should be a star right now.
Tell me why they haven't.
Do you think it was are you about to give me a conspiracy theory? Do you think it was a plant?
He exists, but it ain't Tyler from Spartanburg.
Who do you think it is?
It's South Carolina fan from somewhere.
Yeah. Well, let's make him Tyler from Spartansburg.
It's Joe from Beaufort.
Oh, I hate that.
Disguised as a Clemson fan.
Either way, does he want a job?
got his shots in.
Sure. No, there's a lot of people that ran with that story, had takes about it, and did not listen to the question that Tyler had or whoever he was. He was brutal. Quoting Bible verses and stuff. He brought out all the guns.
It was scripted. It was well done. He got in every sharp elbow. I don't think he exists. How come we haven't found him?
That's a good question.
Somebody would have. Somebody at his high school, because it sounded younger.
Yes.
It did sound younger. I don't know if it was at high school, but maybe younger, collegiate type.
Sure.
Somebody would have found him by now. Hey, he's he's Tyler in the Sig Ep house at Clemson.
Yeah, and
somebody would have found him by now.
Especially after they won, everybody would be looking for him.
They would. And you, John Varley said he's Ernie from Monk's Quarter. Yeah, good one, JV. Something I'm certain of. I said it to Brent. This is the biggest Ole Miss November road game ever. Yeah. It may be bigger than 1959 Halloween night to play Billy Cannon, and we know what happened there. Tonight, if Georgia moves to number one in the CFP, I know they're technically they are number one in the AP, but if they move to number one in the CFP and the chance to win that game, then that makes it that big.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Another thing I'm certain of, I'm certain that the Tigers have put themselves in a pretty good spot right now. 7-2 going into this weekend against Charlotte, a game they should win. I've watched a lot of Charlotte football this year. Tigers should win that game on Saturday, but I'm certain Memphis fans should be big Tulane fans going forward up until, hopefully, you see them again in the conference championship. From what I've looked at, seeing it around, if Memphis wins out, if they can beat SMU at home, that would put them ahead of SMU. If it got down to any tiebreakers or anything, they would be ahead with that head-to-head win of SMU. Tulane plays UTSA. Let's just say they go perfect outside of that game. That's going to be a massive game. If UTSA beats Tulane, it gets a little dicey. If Tulane beats UTSA, based on tiebreakers, based on everything, Memphis would be ahead of SMU. They'd be ahead of UTSA, and they would be playing Tulane in that conference championship game. So I'm certain, as big of fans as Memphis fans should be of their own team, they should be cheering for Tulane to take care of business in the regular season.
I want Tulane to win out.
Yeah.
And that would mean hosting at Ullman. And the Tigers to win out for that rematch. Do you lay awake at night scared of that rematch? I know who won, but also remember 21 unanswered in that game. So if you can do that and fix a few things, I think you could stay in a four-quarter game. I'm not as scared of that rematch as some of those UCF rematches.
Oh, yeah, not at all. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I'm not worried about the rematch. I would love to see it, and that's why I think I'm certain Memphis fans should be cheering for Tulane in that regular season so that Memphis, if they can take care of business, they have that rematch in the conference championship.
I want an Ole Miss win Saturday and no rematch with Georgia. I don't want anything crazy going on with Alabama because beating them once will be very difficult, much less twice in about 6 weeks would be even harder. NFL.
I'm certain that a lot of people owe C.J. Stroud an apology. And I bring this up every once in a while because I don't think C.J. Stroud – now, he was the number 2 pick, so how much can you say about it? But I think a lot of people that wanted to downplay –
after the Michigan loss.
Yeah.
I mean, what he did against Georgia,
unbelievable.
The apology line should have started.
Oh, absolutely. But, going through that draft process, I heard a lot of people comparing him to other Ohio State quarterbacks. Very quickly realized that they were not talking bad about C.J. Stroud as a player. They were talking bad about Ohio State and the quarterbacks that have come out of Ohio State. But what C.J. Stroud has done, what he did on Sunday was unbelievable. To be able, 45 seconds, 47 seconds, however much time was left, to be able to go down the field and Tank Dell, getting some good shots to Tank Dell, and to be able to come back and win that game against a Buccaneers team that I think, more veteran-led, obviously a quarterback in Baker Mayfield that has been around the block a couple of times, was crazy. And so I think, I'm certain a lot of people owe C.J. Stroud an apology. He's an unbelievable talent.
I'm certain of this. Justin Herbert is really talented. He's unbelievably good.
Yeah.
But how do you throw for that few yards last night? I know the Jets' defense is good, but I don't know if that coach-quarterback combination is it in Los Angeles with the Chargers.
I'm going to go ahead and get this certainty out of the way before we talk to Bo at 5 o'clock. Brett, and I'm waiting for Johnny's reaction here. Brett, I'm certain, absolutely certain, you line up Cowboys and Eagles again tomorrow. Line them up today. Line them up on Sunday. Cowboys win that game again.
Oh, Brian, be careful. Dak played great, and they still couldn't beat him.
And that's why I say you line them up again, they win. Give me that same game from Dak.
Is he going to play that well again?
That's a good question, Brett. I don't have an answer for you.
Okay. I thought Sunday was one of the most sobering things ever for you Cowboy fans.
Brett, Johnny just asked me what's wrong with you. Yeah.
With me or with you?
No, with me. With me.
I agree.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Right.
Yeah, thank you.
But you have that Dak performance, and you couldn't finish him off.
Yeah. Well, a couple things go this way, a couple things go that way. Cowboys win that game. Let me see it again.
I'm certain the Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jags, 2 of the 4 remaining teams that have never been to a Super Bowl, Texans and Lions, 5, and Browns, the other ones, we could have a Jags-Lions Super Bowl.
Wow. Wouldn't that be something?
I think it would be glorious.
Holy cow.
Finally, for the Ford family, times are tough. You're just selling cars,
really.
like they are. But for the Ford family to finally get there, and Jacksonville, and it's a big game this week for Jacksonville. The 2 losses the Jags have, they both were at home, and they're coming out of open date and hosting the 49ers. I'm certain nobody thought the 49ers would lose 3 in a row during a year.
Yeah.
There aren't many that thought they would lose 3 all year.
No, you're absolutely right.
This is the time for Jacksonville to get them Sunday.
No, you're right about that. I'm certain, I've heard a lot of people talk about Gardner Minshew and say best backup quarterback in the NFL. I mean, if you are in need of a backup quarterback, that's the guy you get on your team. I'm certain he has competition. Josh Dobbs is right there in the mix. What he was able to do being traded
Who needs OTAs?
to Minnesota. Yeah, really.
Who needs mini camps?
I mean, a couple of days after trade. Really? Well, I mean, also, Joshua Dobbs is also an aerospace engineer.
Literally a rocket scientist.
Literally. And I think I've started to see things saying that he's going to go and orbit Mars in a couple of years with NASA.
He is?
Supposedly. I mean, I think I saw that. Maybe that was just a joke
Tennessee,
on Twitter.
They have all the fun.
Either way, Joshua Dobbs is a brilliant human. We already knew that. I mean, the class, I remember when he was at UT, and every single primetime game they would play, any national television game, anytime, they would always, it was their go-to, pull up his class schedule and show that in a graphic.
Pronounce some of those words.
It's incredible. It's incredible. So he's brilliant. I don't know how many quarterbacks could do that. I get reminded of Baker Mayfield when he got traded, learned the playbook on the plane, and won that first game with the Rams.
I'd take Dobbs in an IQ test.
I would take Dobbs in an IQ test any day. Brilliant what he did.
You think Johnny Manziel had that class? roster like that at A&M?
No chance. I'm sure Johnny Manziel would be with both of us where he could not pronounce those words.
I wasn't close to anything like that.
No, me neither.
Great story for Dobbs. Today I was at lunch at Jason's Deli, one of the many great locations. Some say I live at the location over across from MUS. I was there today, and they have all the locations and one close to you, like the one where I was today, Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland as well, by the U of M, Olive Branch, and Cordova for all that food. And this time of year, for all the get-togethers, let them take care of the event for you. Let them do all the catering, low delivery fees, same day and last minute orders are welcome. That's when they excel. When you don't think you have it planned properly, let them take care of everything for you. Bringing more to the table, it's a family thing at Jason's Deli, whether dining in, to go, or delivery. Wholesome food forever, it's a guarantee with all the great options they have. First franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. It's healthy, and it's all about choice at Jason's Deli. Regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. Plenty of organic food to choose from. All the salads like the Mesa Chicken Salad, the Big Chef Salad, and that salad bar in every location where all the 200 Memphis area associates are working so hard for you. The very valuable customer that they appreciate so very much. Over 30 items to choose from just from the salad bar. The catering, 5 or 5,000, anytime, anywhere, and complimentary free ice cream in all these locations at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Well, let's go ahead and grab a quick break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Sports and blinds, they just go together. And right now, all Sports 56 listeners get $50 off any order at Blinds Etc. South. Real wood, 3.5 to 4.5 inch plantation shutters made in the Mid-South are always affordable at Blinds Etc. South. And now get $50 off your order. Get your free in-home consultation at 901-681-0225 or go to blindsetcetera.southllc.com. Upgrade your home with custom-made plantation shutters and window treatments from Blinds Etc. South.
Memphis's oldest restaurant, Coletta's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed one person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Coletta's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Coletta's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Coletta's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Coletta's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Coletta's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Coletta's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Genesis Diamond's first ever 3-day store-wide sale is this weekend. 3 days of mind-blowing savings, up to 35% off. Earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, plus thousands of engagement rings, all on sale. Designer jewelry has been flown in from New York and California for this. Certified diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Don't miss the biggest and best store-wide event all year. Save 20, 30, even 35%. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only. And only at Genesis Diamond. Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous in the alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
All right, Brett, I like my big number today. I feel like I'm cheating almost because I got my big number, and Johnny's going to say, oh, you're always cheating with your big number. But my big number today, I got it from an ESPN notification, but I thought it was interesting. And
We'll take them any way we can get them.
That's right. My big number is 3. I'm going to round down a little bit for my big number. But MLB World Series 9-inning games averaged 3 hours and 1 minute. That is the fastest since 1996. And, Brad, I remember a couple of times us talking throughout the postseason and throughout the World Series of just how long are these games taking compared to recent years. So it is interesting to see 3 hours and 1 minute, fastest since 1996.
Yeah, we didn't notice the length of the games at all.
No,
I mean, and that's a good thing.
Well, Brett, we almost a couple times talked about how fast they were going. I mean, I remember one time, not even an hour after first pitch, I flipped it on. They're already in the 4th inning.
They were moving along pretty good. When do we get Managers of the Year announcements?
That's a really good question.
Coming soon, aren't they?
Yeah, we just had Gold Glove over the weekend, so I would think this week or maybe this weekend.
Now, all the voting for that is before the playoffs start, and this is why. Because it would be so heat of the moment, everybody would vote for Bochy now.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
Kevin Cash did it from April 1 to September 30th.
Yeah. But, hey, for your preseason picks, you want people to vote for Bruce Bochy.
Well, I do. And in the American League, or National League rather, heat of the moment, everybody would vote Torey Lovello.
Sure.
I think Skip Schumacher should be National League Manager of the Year.
Yeah.
And the Marlins, they scored the fewest runs of any postseason team. I mean, they thread the needle to get to the postseason, and I think that should be rewarded. And that's why I think we all should vote. And just like the Heisman, if you waited and voted for the Heisman after the bowls, we would kind of go to whoever had the best bowl performance.
Absolutely.
Instead of the long march of the regular season. My big number is 5, just 2 more than yours. 5 as in victories versus teams with winning records for playoff contenders. That's Ohio State.
Wow.
They've won 5 times. 4 wins: Alabama, Florida State, Georgia, Louisville, Ole Miss, and Texas.
Wow, that's a good group.
Tulane has held up as a great
really
Ole
has.
Miss win.
Oh, it really has. You're not wrong about that.
And no, I don't want to play them with Michael Pratt.
No, not at all. I have another big number. This comes from college basketball last night. 20 is my big number. We had a seesaw last night. Wake Forest trailed Elon by 21 points last night, 36-15 early in that game. Wake Forest ended up beating Elon by 23 points. It is the only Division I game over the last 15 years in which a team trailed by 20 points or more and still won by 20 points or more.
Coach has everything to work on out of that tape, doesn't he?
It's incredible. I mean, what do you even say after that? Hey, good job. You won. You won by 20 or so. I wonder if they covered the spread. But you trailed by 21 at one point.
Yeah, here's another reason why I don't think, watch it happen in the next 5 minutes after I say this,
right.
Harbaugh news will happen because I don't think they want to step on the CFP tonight.
That's a good point. That's right. As much as they built that up.
I know Big Ten's not ESPN are viewed as that, but I don't think they want to, because that would, a Harbaugh suspension. The announcement tonight is even more meaningless than a lot of these Tuesday nights.
When you have two of your teams are going to be in the top four. I mean, Michigan and Ohio State, whether Ohio State's number 1 or number 2, they're going to be in the top 4. So is Michigan. You don't want to step on your own teams, 2 of teams in your conference being in that top 4.
And Brian, one of the stories out there in college sports that I can't believe is not getting a lot more play than it's getting is this federal judge that has approved the class action status for up to 14,000 student athletes from the past to basically get redress through NIL.
Yeah.
For every sport, male, female, every sport, whether it's badminton or college football, to go back and basically maybe get paid. Now, it's going to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
They're going to fight it all the way legally as far as they can. But if it goes through and the NCAA has to start cutting, let's just say, $14,000, $40,000 checks, they're broke.
Yeah, there's no way you can do that. Nobody can do that. NCAA or anybody. That's impossible.
And that's when you see college football reform in about a 40-team NFL-type sport.
Good Lord. Wow. A lot happening, Brett. A lot happening. But let's wrap up this hour. When we come back, we'll talk NFL with Bo Marchant.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. Be sure to schedule your delivery for the next game at hogsfly.com or come visit us in the alley.
Shopping at DriveMax, you get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax, I got approved.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including carts. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. And Memphis police trying to clean up this earlier wreck over here on Jackson Avenue and McNeil Street. There was injuries involved in that earlier crash. Here's what we're looking at. Heavy traffic on 240 east now from Mill Branch all the way out to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Still looks good as you head out to Collierville. It's building with more volume just in the last few minutes south of Memphis on 55. That's what we're looking at live right now, trying to get down into South Haven. Weimer's Jewelry, they're back open better than ever. Go by and see them at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL Draft. .com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joins us now to talk the National Football League. And Bo, let's just rip that Band-Aid off and let's start with the Dallas Cowboys and their loss on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles. What'd you make of that performance by the Cowboys, by the
Eagles?
He's
already vowed revenge.
Well, maybe.
But, you know, I think it was, I thought the Eagles were going to win the game going into it. They ended up winning the game, but I think Dallas made it a contest, and they fought at one of Dak's best performances.
Absolutely.
You know, and the little things, though, you know, the foot out of bounds, those critical plays that, you know, you can't make those type of mistakes, and that's not to put all the blame on him, but you know, the pass to the end zone, you know, the tight end running too short and the knees down. Those are the little things that, you know, it's a game of inches, and we saw that more than ever this past weekend. But at the end of the day, even with the win, I think things would have to go really bad for Philadelphia to lose control of the division or at least the conference. So, you know, we know the Cowboys are going to be a playoff team, and they're going to have to play their best football come January and February, and you know, just kind of, you know, don't foul up too much as the regular season progresses. But they're not going to catch the Eagles or they're going to be a wild card team. Just put it that way.
They're going to be a wild card team, and they will be a team to be dealt with. And now, you know, it's no embarrassment to play that first weekend because only 2 teams get a bye that first weekend. It's not like it used to be. If you don't win that conference, you play that week, and it's made wild card Saturday and Sunday even better. But what scares me about the Cowboys Sunday, Dak played the best he can play, and it still wasn't good enough.
It wasn't, I mean, that, and looking at the scoreboard, that was evident. I thought there were some fishy calls. There was a little stretch there. I thought the Eagles got some calls that were a little, I don't know, too much.
I agree.
But we could nitpick and go both sides. And then the funny thing, you just got the Eagles. They're 8-1, and they're still not playing their best football. But they're just taking down top opponents and doing what they do. So it's kind of fun. And we all know if you love football, NFC East football, those type of games, they had lived up to all the hype. That's the one great thing about it. If you sat down Sunday to watch that game, besides rooting for one team or the other, if you just were invested in the game itself, there was no way you weren't pleased watching those two teams give their best.
No, it was good stuff Sunday afternoon. The only thing that was bad about it, and it's the dumbest thing we do collectively as a country, and that's saying something, the dumbest thing we do as a country, the only thing bad about it was it getting dark at 3:30 here Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here in Ohio, and I think it was dark at like 5:13 or something.
No kidding. Man,
yeah,
we need more sunshine.
Yeah, it's crazy. Tell you what, the temperatures are gorgeous, though. Brett, I will actually screenshot what I texted my wife around 5 o'clock, because I just said the air outside speaks to my soul. I just want to go running. So
it really is nice. I got up early this morning, and Bo, while you run ultra marathons, I try to walk about 2.5 miles a day, and it was great out there this morning. Bo Marchant talking NFL with us. Bo, you cover that AFC North, and those teams. I'm not playing the disrespect card, but I think I am playing why not more appreciated card, and I think I know the reason why. Why do you think the AFC North kind of get not the wink and the nod, but it's not as appreciated as you just mentioned, NFC East or even NFC West? Why do you think it's a little bit not castigated but questioned?
I think because it's a dirty brand of football. I think it's, brute force run games, Steelers, Ravens, where the score is going to be 9-6 every single time they play. I think we get more, animated when we see the Chiefs and say the, Chargers, 35-38, and you get to watch them, Magica, Herbert. And I just think the style of the play is more old school. And, I bet if you take the generations of guys or ladies fans, if you will, that watched the game back in the day, they might prefer the AFC North over some of the other divisions. But that's why I would say I just think it's the brand of football that division brings. Isn't it's not exactly the I think the nation wants to see on a big scale.
Here's my theory, and I sure don't share it. Largely, the Browns are not respected, and because they've never been to a Super Bowl. The other thing, we haven't had a Super Bowl winner out of that division since the Ravens won it in Super Bowl 47 in New Orleans. Cincinnati got there, but we've had a drought for the Steelers, and they kind of carried the flag for AFC North for a long time.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to get there. Even the other night against Tennessee, it's good to win. You can't knock winning. I mean, they're 5-3, they're tied. And we joked around earlier. Texan. If the playoffs started now, every all team four in the AFC North would be all four, which is pretty astonishing when you think about it. The Steelers, they aren't the team that the fan base wants, and I think the 9-8, the 8-8 seasons, it's that's great for Tomlin, and you haven't had a losing record, but the mediocrity and the standard of hey, we didn't finish under 500. If that's the new goal, then you got to revamp the mindset, and they want to.
It's our theme. It's like Cardinal baseball fans. We're spoiled rotten.
Yeah, it is, and they are. They're you look at Tomlin's track record, and look at Bill Belichick. I know they're 2-7, but I mean he's Bill Belichick. I mean, can he just have a little bit of a pass? Can he, one season where he maybe tries to rebuild it back up to what it was? It's a relentless business. There's no forgiving. I mean, if Andy Reid probably loses 5 straight games, they're going to start calling for him to lose his job. It's just the environment that these guys are employed in.
Yeah, it really is. What'd you make of C.J. Stroud's performance on Sunday? I mean, just
Rookie of the year.
unbelievable.
Don't even send the ballots out.
What he and really fellow rookie Tank Dell with 2 touchdowns. He also had a great game. What'd you make of that performance by the Texans?
And if he gets the Texans in the playoffs, he might get in some MVP race.
One, when you look at it, and granted, we have a limited size of Anthony Richardson, but think about this. I mean, Will Levis looks very good in 2 games. Saw him Thursday night. I thought he looked fantastic. And for a rookie, making a second start against that defense, I mean, he was poised. But you got the Colts with Anthony Richardson. The Texans have a home run in C.J. Stroud. Titans look like they have something in Will Levis. And then we know that Jacksonville has Trevor Lawrence. This went from one of the more sour-type offense or quarterback heavy divisions in football, or lack of, and now this could be the division of the future, just because they're going to have the horses at quarterback. But Stroud, I got a text Sunday from a buddy, and he goes, I turned on the Texans game and I thought I was seeing a San Diego State score, just the way that Stroud was being able to move the ball and the way that they performed. Hey, listen, he's on pace for over 4,300 yards. I think he's on pace for 3 interceptions for the entire season, 25 touchdowns. He's been amazing, and if you can hit that lightning in the bottle, I say it so many times, if you can find one of these guys and you get lucky, because nobody knows. We didn't know if it was going to be Bryce Young. I love Bryce Young. You didn't know if it was going to be Stroud, and you just go down the list, and it is apparent the Texans do have a quarterback, and they're going to be able to win a lot of games. And with that said, you can't count them out. It's such a tight race, and I think when you look at the landscape of the league, all the teams that you're, in the standings, I should say, the Steelers are 5-3. Just say take everybody absent of the Bengals. I think they're for real.
They could slip.
Yeah. The Cleveland. Yeah. So they're 5-3, but do you really trust them? So the Texans at 4-4 right now. They are right there with a shot to make a wild card run. I don't think they're going to catch the Jacksonville. They shouldn't. That'd be a bad way to go for to the Jaguars. But nonetheless, 4-4. They've already surpassed the 3 wins from last season. Just a great story right now for football. And Houston, they had the Astros, and now they got the Texans, so they're getting everything going.
There's also another 4-4 team right behind them in the standings, and that's coming off of a win last night on Monday Night Football, but it was not impressive. How come the Chargers aren't better than this? Those defensive ends, that quarterback, those receivers, why aren't they better than this, Bo?
I wish I could tell you, Brad. I really do. That's we can't put all the blame on Brandon Staley, and although I love to blame him for a lot of things, I think it is a team game, and everybody has to be involved one way or another. And that was an ugly game.
Went for 136 last night.
Yeah.
He should have 136 before the national anthem plays.
Yep, and you're exactly right. I think the Jets did them all the favors in the world. I mean, last night Zach Wilson passed for a career high, or attempts, 49 attempts. There's not one game, unless you're letting Zach Wilson go back to BYU, where you're going to allow him put up the ball.
He never wins a game throwing it 49 times.
No. Eight sacks. They can't protect him. And what's Nathaniel Hackett continue to do? Just press the replay button. Pass. And then you got the Chargers. They're 4-4. I call them a paper line a little bit. I think, put it this way, I think they're the worst 4-win team. Well, I can't say that. The Jets are definitely the worst 4-win team, probably followed by Washington, and then I would put the Chargers right there.
Going back to the Texans for a second, because I just started thinking about this while talking about Rookie of the Year and maybe getting a couple of votes for MVP. Depending on the rest of the how the rest of the season goes, where does DeMeco Ryans sit for Coach of the Year?
I think he'd be a slam dunk. He seems like a bit of a media darling, and I don't mean that to be facetious. I just think, we love DeMeco Ryans. We loved him. Yeah, we loved him as a player.
Sure
he
did.
was hard-nosed. And he brought it, and then we know what he did last year, or during this time in San Francisco. He was the hottest commodity as a head coach. We know Denver wanted him. He elected to go back to Houston, where he played. And, you can't not root for him. I think, and then when I say media favorite, he's a fan favorite. And if you have those two things going for you and you have success, and you have a quarterback on the level where C.J. Stroud is playing, I think everything's in the wheelhouse, if you will, to have him be nominated as that guy. And I even think if you look across at there was a 3-win team last year. They already won 4, and you would assume they're going to at least win 7, bare minimum 7 games from down the stretch. And that's a pretty impressive turnaround, if you ask me.
And remember, I had mentioned a couple of times, and I don't think it's anytime soon, but one of these days, Nick Saban's going to retire as head coach at Alabama, and I said keep DeMeco Ryans on your radar for him potentially going back to his alma mater and being head coach. I talked to somebody that's very plugged in and knows DeMeco Ryans very well. He says there's not a chance of that happening. He wants to be a pro coach because he was the ultimate professional as a player, and he wants that out of his players. He wants to coach grown men, professional players, and treats it very seriously and wants nothing to do with college.
Yeah, and I don't blame it. And you know what? And today, and the way the college game's going now,
it's really changed.
I mean, imagine, the recruiting, the kids are just flipping teams. I would not want to be part of that landscape, to think that you got to go out on the recruiting trail and, the transfer portal opens and, just doing my draft shows and been doing them over the years, let's just say 5 years ago, had a kid, he played at Bowling Green and then he went to Missouri. Now it's just every single kid. And I know COVID had a little bit to do with the extra eligibility year and stuff. But
the players had been in 3 places.
Yeah, that's what every single kid. I mean, and the 2-school guy was a rarity. That that was rare. Usually had 3 years at Iowa, 4 years at Ohio State. Now it's I played 1 year at Wisconsin, then I transferred to Texas Tech, and then I ended up at Kentucky. You're like, okay.
And I don't mind the player. I like the player liberation and freedom, but I don't know that I would want to have to deal with it. And that pro coach, he has to deal with just a couple of people. He has to deal with the owner. He has to deal with the player's agent and with his general manager. But, I think most places the coach kind of has pecking order over GM, especially if they win and they have seniority. In college, you have to deal with parents. You have to deal with the youngster themselves. You have to deal with a bunch of people that think they're the owner of the team, called the top 100 boosters. I think if you were in something for a living, it would be more amenable to be a pro coach right now than a college coach.
I agree with you 100%, Brett. I would sleep a lot easier being the head coach of the Seahawks rather than the Tennessee Volunteers.
Yeah.
Easily, I think. I was talking to somebody yesterday, Bo, and they made the argument to me that the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in the AFC. What do you make of what the Ravens have done this year? 7-2 on the season, a big win over the Seahawks on Sunday. What have you made of what they've done this year, and what do you think of that argument of they're the best team in the AFC?
I could make that argument, Bo.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I haven't been doing my numbers here. Over the last 4 weeks, they've outscored their opponents by 20 points, and in 2 of those games, they've held the teams to 9 points combined.
They beat Pete Carroll 37-3.
Yeah, yep, and that's just defense. And we're not even talking about how explosive Lamar Jackson is and what that offense has done. And and it's you think about it, they don't have Christian McCaffrey back there. They don't have Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson. They got that collection of guys since Dobbins went down, and they're still so good at running the football and doing what they do best. This is the big, scary moment, though, and we do this every year. This is why I think Baltimore was reluctant to give the big contract to Lamar Jackson last season. Is will he be able to stay healthy? This is the script we see every season. Ravens, best team in football, or one of the best teams in football, dominating the league. And then, Lamar gets hurt, and, he's an elite player. That's why they're an elite team. And then everything goes south, and then you start questioning, okay, how do we keep this kid healthy? What can we do? How do we change the game? So if I'm a Ravens fan, I love that I'm 7-2. I love that we're dominating on both sides of the football. I love it that Lamar Jackson's playing at an MVP level. But I am scared to death.
Just get up.
Holding my breath that this kid is going to go 17 for 17 and then make the full run, in the playoffs. That's a lot. That's a tall task for him. And he can do everything else, but remaining healthy is the one thing that's hard for him to kind of be elusive with.
we talked about it a lot last week with Brock Purdy and the over-the-top comparisons to some 49er legends. I don't think we're overstating it with Shanahan's prowess as a head coach. So what are we missing with the 49ers? Where's the blame game?
I just think they got, when they get off a little slow, I don't think they're built to come from behind. I think that's the way it looks for me. And and the Bengals are playing at a great. I mean, I think Joe Burrow right now. I know in the text or in the tweet or Twitter X, whatever it is now. I put Bengals and I had the Ravens, but I would prefer the Bengals right now if I had to bet two teams to face off in the Super Bowl. So, but the 49ers, listen, they were 4-4 last year, 4-3 last year, and then they got hot and they won they won a lot of games, kind of like how the Bengals
and made the deal.
Yeah, so I think they'll be right there. Listen, they look so good prior to the 3-game losing streak, the 49ers. So I imagine they're going to get back to that, and everybody has the hiccups in the season. And Buffalo, I mean, look at the Bills. I mean, there's, we are going to talk about the Bills being a team that's fading, but I guarantee in probably 3 weeks, they're going to get red hot again, dominate. They'll go in a 3 or 4 game stretch where they just look like the best team in football, and they might come back to earth and flounder, but nonetheless, I think that's just the way a lot of teams are built right now. The Eagles are the consistent teams, but we've seen it with the 49ers, the way they started. We know the Bengals start slow. The Bills are that team. They look great. They kind of, and then they get back to looking great again. And the Chiefs are consistent. They might have they might struggle in a game and win, but they're not going to lose multiple games. And and that was a great win again. Not to get off topic, but great week in football. Dolphins, Chiefs. You had the Bills, Bengals, and then the Cowboys and Eagles. We were finally treated to some really good football.
Yeah, we were. And you mentioned the Bengals and kind of that slow start to the season. And Brett has made this point a couple times. Kind of the same thing they did last year, where it started off really slow and really bounced back. A big win over the Bills. What have you made of this team and the Bengals?
Yeah, I think they're playing great, and the defense is fabulous. I think we're always going to talk about offense, especially when you have a quarterback like Burrow or Mahomes or Josh Allen. You're always going to say that the quarterback. But the defense has been playing fantastic, and Burrow is coming to life. We can see he's healthy. The first 4 games, they're 1-3. The last 4 games, they're 4-0. 2 touchdown passes in his first 4 games, 10 touchdown passes. And his last 4 games, they averaged 12 points in the first 4. They're averaging over 26 in their last 4 games. And we've seen who they beat. They beat the 49ers on the road and came back home and beat the Bills. If you're going to stack 2 games against anybody that anybody's played all season and been victorious, that has to be one of the more impressive resumes that teams have been able to kind of throw out there on the table.
What the story of the Vikings, the story of kind of where they are. They're at 5-4. If the playoffs started now, they would be in the playoffs. I don't know if it holds, but at 5-4, not many had them there.
I want it up. Kudos to Kevin O'Donnell and Wes Phillips. They're doing a heck of a job. Think about Josh Dobbs. I think you talk about a player of the week. I think Josh Dobbs should be that guy. You get traded from Arizona, you arrive, you probably barely know half the guys on the rosters by their first names, and then you're under center. We cover sports, we cover the game. We know how much time backups get rep-wise during the week. It's bare minimum. And for him to step in and be an influence, and he won that game by moving and keeping the play alive, and he just extended plays and was able to kind of help that team. And it's a great win for Minnesota. It's one of those things. Can they make that last over what are they, 5-3? You got 9 games to go.
5-4, yeah.
8 games to go. Yeah, 8 games to go at 5-4. So that's where the meat and bones of the schedule are going to start wearing on you. And can you keep that momentum? But nonetheless, I think out of all the weekends, all of it, I think Josh Dobbs should deserve some sort of accolade or praise, because I just think what he did. It's special. Think of all the other guys that played quarterback this week that have been there all year or previous seasons and weren't able to pull off a win, but this kid did.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable weekend of football, an unbelievable weekend for him and really all across the NFL. But, Bo, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do this again next week.
You guys stay safe, gentlemen. Thank you always.
Thanks, Bo.
Bo Marchant joining us every single week to talk the NFL from Sports Illustrated and collegetopro.com. I always enjoy talking NFL with Bo. But I got to tell you about Hewlett and Dunn Boot and Jean on the historic square in Collierville since 1961. Charles Hall started working there in his teens, and now with his wife Laura, they own the place, known for all the boots, but also clothing, accessories, and a cap for any team in any season. Western wear, work boots, safety toe, soft toe, even rubber boots for absolutely every occasion at Hewlett and Dunn. From head to toe, they've got you covered with every brand imaginable, like Ariat, Dan Post, Anderson Bean. Whether for men or women, they've got clothing like jeans, pants, shirts, shorts, outerwear, and the best duck head collection you'll find. Charles and Laura Hall invite you to 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville, or to their website, hewlettanddunn.com. And it's a perfect time to go out and visit them at 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville. As Christmas is coming up, I know a lot of people getting their Christmas lists together, and also that town square, what they do out there around Christmas time with all of the lights, the Christmas tree. I mean, it really just gets you in the Christmas spirit just being out there. So a perfect opportunity to go out there and check them out. They've also got accessories like hats, sunglasses, boot care products in every area, team snapback or cool hat you can think of, whether it be the Tigers, Mississippi State, UT, Ole Miss, or the Razorbacks. They've got you covered, and for travel, their bag selection is absolutely top-notch. HewlettDunn.com, but please head out to Collierville, give them a visit, and say hello at 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville at Hewlett and Dunn. Let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Genesis Diamond's first ever 3-day store-wide sale is this weekend. 3 days of mind-blowing savings, up to 35% off. Earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, plus thousands of engagement rings, all on sale. Designer jewelry has been flown in from New York and California for this. Certified diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Don't miss the biggest and best store-wide event all year. Save 20, 30, even 35%. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only. And only at Genesis Diamond. Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
Hey, if you're hungry for great Mexican food for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, got it. La Guadalupana. Guadalupana. Choose from tacos, burritos, enchiladas, sizzling shrimp, beef, or chicken fajitas, and even a Cuban sandwich filled with Mexican sauces, chicken, ham, steak, jalapenos, avocado, and more. How about super nachos topped with melted cheese, beans, sour cream, guacamole, tomato, and jalapenos? All great with nice cold beer, domestic and imported. Good prices, generous portions, great service at 2 locations, Summer Avenue and Cordova Road. La Guadalupana.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg at East Memphis Ace. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ready to cook in only 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between. Change your at-home cooking experience for life with our unmatched, authentic wood-fired grill flavor that has our customers raving. Get your Big Green Egg and all our accessories at East Memphis Ace on the corner of South White Station and Quince Road.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You could just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous in the alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. And Memphis police trying to clean up this earlier wreck over here on Jackson Avenue and McNeil Street. There was injuries involved in that earlier crash. Here's what we're looking at. Heavy traffic on 240 east now from Mill Branch all the way out to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Still looks good as you head out to Collierville. It's building with more volume just in the last few minutes south of Memphis on 55. That's what we're looking at live right now, trying to get down into South Haven. Weimer's Jewelry, they're back open better than ever. Go by and see them at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we've got about 30 minutes left in today's show. And Brett, I meant to tell you this yesterday, but it's pitch black outside. It's dark.
I know.
And I was not prepared yesterday for it to be this dark this early because I've been so used to leaving at like 6:15, 6:30, and it's still light outside. Yeah, no, you're not a fan of it. You're not a fan of it.
No, better than that. I don't care what party. I don't care what other issues. Democrat, Republican, red, blue, whatever it is. I would take a leave of absence from this job, go door to door for them on this simple plank. We never change it like we just did. And when we get back to spring, we tack another hour on that, and then we leave it there.
And then just stay like that forever.
9:30 dark in the summertime. You can tee off at 5:30. You can work in the yard when you get home from work until 9:30.
I like that. It's
not now, I know it'll be darker in the morning.
Yeah.
But
I guess, you win some, you lose some. You got to give and take.
It's never going to happen.
No.
You know why?
Why is that?
The airline industry fights it so hard internationally.
Really?
Yeah, with changing everything.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I know it's been
House approved it. No. One branch approved it, died in the other place.
Really?
And it was kind of a fixed deal. Yeah, you posture, you do this,
right.
And we'll let it die on the vine.
Interesting. I didn't know all that. I when I looked up to make sure it was this past weekend, I had seen that like a couple of states were still trying to get it through on a state level. Or
Tennessee
like
is.
That. Really?
As we speak,
I didn't know
it's
that.
in front of the General Assembly.
I think I saw like Utah or something like that.
Arizona never changes.
You're kidding.
Arizona did not change Saturday night when we went to bed.
So it's just a completely different time in Arizona, and it has nothing to do with
they keep it
different times of.
I want to say Indiana may be another one.
Really?
But it's in front of the Tennessee General Assembly right now.
Interesting.
Now,
something new.
Hospitality groups, chambers of commerce, travel industry, things like that, they're very opposed to it, and they sure are opposed to this one is and this one's not.
Sure. Interesting.
But we are 50 states that form a union.
That's correct.
I don't want to go Mr. Lincoln on you, but
getting close, I guess so.
I'm not going to go all four score on you, but
interesting. Well, I did see, obviously, no NBA games today, but they're going to be back in action tomorrow night, and the Grizzlies will be at home. Brett, have you seen this injury list or injury report, I guess I should call it?
Go through it.
Doubtful tomorrow night against the Miami Heat. John Conchar with a right hip strain. He is the only doubtful listed. Out, Steven Adams, right knee PCL strain. Brandon Clark, left Achilles tendon repair. G.G. Jackson, two-way transfer. Jake LaRavia, G-League assignment. John Morant, league suspension. Derrick Rose, left knee injury recovery. Vince Williams, two-way transfer. And here's another killer. Xavier Tillman, left knee soreness on the injury report for tomorrow night.
And we know how that initial left knee soreness ends up being 6 weeks.
Yep, we do. And I just don't, it feels like, and we were talking to DeMichael about this earlier in the week, it just feels like every time the Grizzlies...
Murphy's Law year.
Yeah, it really has. One player gets
year.
back and another player is on the injury list, and it just can't get back to it. But I know they did meet with, I guess I should say Taylor Jenkins met with the media, and DeMichael Cole did tweet out earlier today. I saw Derrick Rose is still considered week to week with the knee injury, and he said they should get more of an update later in the week, but he's obviously going to be out tomorrow. He also added Xavier Tillman Sr. is also day-to-day. So, Derrick Rose, we kind of feared this, maybe a little more than this, but especially right now, with John Morant still out for a suspension, you could certainly use Derrick Rose as that backup point guard. I think you're seeing with the guys that are on the two-way transfer down to the G League, Jake LaRavia on a G League assignment, Jacob Gilyard, the only reason he's not with that group is because the Grizzlies need bodies at point guard, and he's one of the guys that they're having to rely on right now because of that Derrick Rose injury.
What's the Grizzlies' draft status for next year? What first rounder? Something's been dealt, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. I would have to look.
I don't think they pick in a preferred group, do they?
I would not. I don't know. Let me look.
I'm looking at a mock draft site. Has the Grizzlies drafting 19th?
Does it have? Is it a mock draft? Does it have them taking somebody?
A player out of Kentucky.
Okay.
7'3", foreign player.
Oh yeah. I don't know if he's able to play right now for Kentucky. I think there's still kind of eligibility things going on with him. So it looks like 2024 still have their first rounder, and a Phoenix or Washington. Washington has the right to swap its 2024 first-round pick protected for selections 13 through 30, yada, yada, yada. They may or may not get that one. So it looks like they certainly have one, could maybe get another one.
How long until we're talking
Brad.
Shoot the Rapids and try to get in draft position?
Oh, man.
It's way too soon.
It's way too soon. It's certainly after John Morant comes back.
Yeah.
But, it's a real conversation, I think.
All right, after Ja gets back, let's say that 25-gamer is 8-17.
Yikes. Oh, man.
He gets back. How long do you see that? How many games? 10, 15, 20, 30?
Okay, probably 15 or 20.
If he gets back and you win 8 of the first 11, okay, let's play this thing out a little bit.
That's a good question, because you start talking about teams tanking and doing XYZ around the start of the new year, January and really into February when we're around the All-Star game. And that's, John Morant's going to be back right around the end of December, so 15, 20, maybe 30 games out is kind of around that time we start labeling teams as tanking.
Ja eligible to be back, first time he can return, the 26th game, a Tuesday night game in New Orleans, December 19th.
I think he plays that game.
He has to play. He has to play in that game.
Yeah,
they need bodies.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. But how much does he give you? How much does he add to this team? I hope we're not talking about an 8 and 17 at that point, but it's really possible. This game's big tomorrow night, and this is a Heat team that has kind of struggled to start the year, but they beat the Lakers last night.
They did.
And the real question is, and I've seen some people say this on Twitter, and some of my friends have also pointed this out to me. I saw maybe somebody tweeted when the Grizzlies started 0-5 and said, well, let's not forget the same Lakers team that knocked the Grizzlies out of the playoffs started the season 0-5. But
they had LeBron James.
But also, Brett, let's not forget everything they did at the trade deadline. I mean, they made a ton of moves
remade the team
at the deadline. And so are the Grizzlies going to be as willing as the Lakers were?
Never have been.
To make those moves at the deadline. And really, you don't make those moves in your...
That's no slight to the Grizzlies.
No, not
Very
at all.
few are the Lakers.
That's right. And if you don't make those moves, if you're the Lakers last year, you're not in the position you were at the end of the season last year. And I just don't, like you said, I don't think the Grizzlies make those moves.
No, I can remember needling at the Lakers, 12 seed, 11 seed, but then they just kept improving, and then were formidable and got and advanced to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, and so it's just I don't think the Grizzlies are going to make a move. So it's either
Western Conference Finals.
Right. And so I don't think I just don't think they make a move at the deadline with any of their guys. I mean, maybe you try to move Jake LaRavia, but at this point, you're just now putting him on a status report that you're sending him down to the G League.
What's that return?
Nothing. Who wants him?
That's not going to be a big haul.
A 2029 second-round pick?
Tell me everything you know at this mock draft site where I am. Number 1 pick to the young Pistons from France. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Sounds familiar.
Alexandre Sarr.
Yeah, he's playing in New Zealand right now. A lengthy center. What'd you say? Did you say his height?
7'1".
7'1". Very athletic.
Is he better than Wemby?
No. No. I mean, Wemby is a generational, not even just type of player, generational size and frame and can do different things that we've never seen before. But a really good player that, I'm kind of surprised they have him as number 1, but a very good player.
Look at all the players from France.
Oh, France is becoming what they have 3 drafted in the first round last year. So, yeah, France is becoming a legit prospect pool for
hot take
NBA.
here. Look out for France in 2028.
Yeah, really, look out for France.
LA at the Olympics.
Honestly, because they can put him together. Now, I think Alex Sarr, I think he's lived in America most of his life. I also think he's related to another player. Maybe not. I don't know. That's all I've got on Alex Sarr, though.
Which was much more than I had.
Yeah, no, I
had nothing.
I was glad I had something.
I never knew he existed until 3.5 minutes ago.
Yeah. His brother, Olivier Sarr, who played at Wake Forest and then at Kentucky. And I don't know if he's still in the NBA, but was like a end-of-the-bench guy in the NBA for a couple years. So it has some family ties to the NBA. But, yeah, I think we'll be a good player.
Michigan football fighting back. Have you seen the story? They sent documents to the Big Ten that the school believes 3 conference teams engaged in communication about the Wolverine signals in 2022.
Really?
Y'all did it too.
Wow, flipping the script on opposing teams. How about that?
We're not the only ones.
Well, we might be cheating, but they are too.
Which is why I haven't been as enthusiastic about just really drilling them as many have, because again, I can't name a place, but I bet it's going on.
Oh, yeah. It's going. And Brett, I meant to tell you this yesterday.
And I bet it's going on in my beloved SEC.
Oh, I'm sure. And when speaking of your beloved SEC, we always talk about the big old curtains that go up. And I'll
curtains
be honest,
everywhere.
And maybe somebody can tell me different on the text line, because I have not been to every home Memphis game this year. And when I was going years before this year, I've been sitting in the press box, and so I haven't really had the view I had on Saturday. But I saw the curtains go up for USF on Saturday. First time I've seen curtains in a really long time, because I don't think a ton of teams, Memphis certainly doesn't do it. I don't think a ton of teams in the American go curtains, but USF certainly did, and obviously Golish coming from Tennessee, I'm sure they do curtains at Tennessee, but I got a kick out of seeing the curtains go up.
Cheap shot here on the AAC.
Uh-oh.
I think they could be telling everybody what defenses they're lining up in and our offenses are lining up in, and the defense is not be able to stop them.
You know, Brett, I wanted to say that. I wanted to say I don't think anybody's really wanting to steal their signs, but I held back.
And for Michigan, let's say they're completely guilty as charged.
Sure.
100% guilty. Then how did Georgia beat them a few years ago? How did TCU beat them?
That's a good question. Yeah. Well, I mean, TCU's trying to say
and
that they had
foolproof.
fake signs, or they knew about them and tried to, catch them off guard with new signs.
I know tonight people are getting ready to go out, and I know for the holidays you're going to want to have a great spread. You can do that with the commissary, either location, the Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown in that holiday special, the smoked turkey, cornbread dressing, the gravy, the cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes, green beans, rolls, butter, plates, utensils. They've got it. They do it all for you. That's where you should start for your holiday feast, and you need to call now, 901-754-5540. We know how famous it is for barbecue. We know how famous this town is for barbecue. In the commissary, they do it so well at either location, at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original, the mainstay, where Walker Taylor had a dream and where it all started in 1981 at the original Germantown commissary. But for the holidays, this is where your holiday meal should start, 901-754-5540. And right now, if you're getting ready to go out for early dinner, perfect. Go to one of the two locations. And if you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733. Dig into the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a plate on a sandwich with all the sides, done the Memphis slow-cooked way. The appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos, the smoked chicken wings, big enough to be an entree, but you got to pace yourself and start with those and then finish with the barbecue. But for the holiday season, you want the turkey. You want that for Christmas, or you want it for Thanksgiving. If you get it for Thanksgiving, you'll get it again for Christmas. 901-754-5540. Get on the list, check it twice right now, or go online at commissarybbq.com. In Collierville and Germantown, the party areas, to watch the Grizzlies tomorrow night, to enjoy the games this weekend, catering, tailgating, and the holidays. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com.
Well, let's get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Fall is in the air, and so are Choate's Early Bird Specials. Right now, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier gas furnace. Carrier furnaces come with some of the best warranties in the industry, and Choate's has been professionally installing them for over 60 years. As a Carrier factory authorized dealer, Choate's also offers competitive financing solutions for you and your family. If your heating system is in good shape, make sure you take advantage of Choate's Early Bird Tune-Up Special for $60. This tune-up is an in-depth 20-point inspection to make sure your furnace is ready for the winter season ahead. So call 347-8086 to schedule your Early Bird Special today. And turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep. That means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. I like putting a spread bet together with the over for my parlays, and anytime player touchdown always has me on the edge of my seat. So if you're ready to do the same, visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Once again, here are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive and well, will you be there holding my hand? I'll keep you by my side with my Superman.
The biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye. Hello, Haskins. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is that James Madison has officially sent in a letter to the NCAA requesting that they change their rules. They've already done it once, and it was denied, but now they have more evidence. Seemingly, everyone has to do it a couple times with more evidence before it is approved. This is a tweet from Brett McMurphy that just kind of lays it all out. If NCAA approves James Madison waiver to become bowl eligible, Dukes would be eligible for Sun Belt title game based on the league's bylaws, and also could be ranked by college football playoffs and earn Group of Five's New Year's Six bowl berth. NCAA already denied JMU's appeal in April. Quote, That's what's frustrating about this, a source said. We've been discussing this ad nauseum the past year. This is a 4th and 40 from your 20. This is a Hail Mary. I still think it's an extreme long shot. End of quote. If JMU's appeal is denied, the Dukes can still go to a bowl if there is not 82 bowl eligible teams. With 3 weeks remaining, Action Network HQ projecting only 78 teams will be bowl eligible, allowing JMU and also Jacksonville State to go bowling. I think it's a shame that James Madison is even in this situation right now. It's crazy. They're an unbelievable team, fun team to watch. I hope with all my heart they get it.
One of the more hideous groups ever, the NCAA. Again, can you imagine going to a party with them and hanging around them?
No.
What I learned today, Coach Nick Saban, best college football coach ever. Great job this year. And after that loss to Texas, most of us thought he would lose 2 or 3 more times this year. A Gator Bowl or a Music City Bowl. But let's slow down on turning water to wine, as I said earlier. Of his 22 starters, 20 play for anybody that's going to be on that list tonight.
Oh, yeah.
He's done a great job with it. He saved the season. He got his team to rally. But let's not talk like he took over at West Texas State.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I slammed East Texas State earlier, so I'll get
them
people
both
out in the
in
western
there.
part.
I guess so. What I could have done without today, honestly, I'm going to go back and take my shot at the Pac-12 network because I was very disappointed yesterday when I was not able to watch some of these great Pac-12 teams in their first game of the season because it was on Pac-12 network. But I will also say I could have done without this slate of college basketball tonight. Yes, there are some very intriguing games, some teams I want to see play.
Yeah, don't do us like this.
Yeah, but also especially, and I understand the NBA not playing games tonight.
I'll get to that.
Yeah, but this seems like a great opportunity for college basketball. There are plenty of basketball fans out there that are looking for basketball
that
tonight.
center stage.
Take advantage of it. Now you do have a good matchup, Baylor and Auburn tonight, but let's get a couple of those matchups going and have a bigger slate where you can get more people fired up for college basketball tonight.
I don't want to lose my mind over this, but I could have done without the NBA not having any games tonight for Election Day. I can see it this time next year.
Yeah.
A year from now, can you imagine what the next year is going to be like with that? But anyway.
I thought we're not voting today, are we? I got confused because of the NBA.
We are if you live in Mississippi, which we have a lot of Mississippi listeners in
but I'm not
DeSoto
voting
County
today,
and Marshall County, and they're voting in Kentucky.
Okay.
So tonight, if the NBA are playing, are we talking 2 carloads of people that would be going to maybe a game instead of going to vote in Kentucky and in Mississippi?
Maybe.
I mean, when you say the NBA, I don't think people's first reaction is Mississippi and Kentucky.
No.
About the NBA. I know there are other places having statewide voting. I think there are big votes tonight in Virginia. Well, there's always elections.
Sure.
So you can't always defer to it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I was sitting there earlier this week when I saw that the NBA is not playing. Am I supposed to vote this week? Like, what's going on? So, yeah, I'm right with you on that. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me, too, since there's not a lot else. By God, Maction plays on.
Absolutely.
Not just doing something to say we care like the NBA's doing. Beam me to Kalamazoo. I think I need the beaming machine to get to Kalamazoo. For CMU at WMU. That's Jimmy McElwain at Central Michigan. They can get bowl eligible tonight with a win.
I like it. Beam me to South Dakota tonight, the Pentagon. Everyone loves playing a game in the Pentagon, and tonight we'll see Baylor and Auburn play each other, and that should be a good game. Baylor ranked 20th in the country, but Auburn, don't sleep on them. A very good team right outside the top 25. Should be a heck of a game on ESPN tonight.
2 AAC games tonight. One, I don't expect much from, St. Thomas, Texas at Rice. Tickets available at Rice, but also Northern Iowa at North Texas.
Yeah, and that one should be an interesting one. North Texas, who knows what they'll be this
Scott
year.
Drew was almost coach of the Tigers once.
Well, yeah, you've mentioned that a time or two. He was
I'll say nothing else.
And he'll go tonight for 20th ranked Baylor. But that's all the time we have today. Enjoy your night. Enjoy the action. Enjoy the college basketball. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.